Live from Boston, Massachusetts, we've gathered the best collegiate Overwatch teams in New England to go head-to-head, competing for local bragging rights and a trip to the West Coast. From Laugh Boston in the Seaport District of downtown Boston, welcome to the first ever Boston Uprising Collegiate Cup. It is all happening here, ladies and gentlemen. Great to have you with us. My name is Mitch Leslie, and I'm here with Connor Prince, and we have a treat for everybody at home today.
We definitely have a treat, Uber, and it's also cold outside, I have to say.
It's
a little
frigid
cold.
as heck.
We weren't prepared when we got out of the airport, by any means. But we're here, the Collegiate Cup. We have the top 4 teams from the qualifiers. Let's talk about how we got here. We had initial 12. We have our boys now looking at our finalists, Emerson. We got Boston University, sort of a hometown in a way.
You could say that.
Northeastern University and the University of Connecticut, UConn for short. And what are they playing for?
Well, of course, I mean, there's actually a reasonable amount on the line. These are your matchups coming into it, though. So first seed Northeastern will go up against Emerson in the first match, and then Boston University and the University of Connecticut will take it head-to-head in that second semi-final. What's at stake? Well, as we said, it's a round-trip flight to Los Angeles for the winning team. 2 nights hotel stay in the Los Angeles area, and tickets to see yours truly, the Boston Uprising at the Overwatch League, playing a match in 2019. So that's going to be a great experience. Some of these players have already come down to the arena before, but it is a long trip. It is going coast to coast, so trust me, take it from your boy. That's a long way to go.
We're doing it twice, so it's a little bit of a trip.
Exactly. We also wanted to let you know, later this afternoon, we'll be giving away a sweet DX Racing Series gaming chair. Guys, a member of the live audience will be chosen at random to win this chair. So be on alert here at Laugh Boston. And many thanks to DX Racer for being a sponsor of the Boston Uprising Collegiate Cup. Fantastic.
I hope it's me that's chosen.
Yeah, me too.
I hope it's me. I want one.
I have one already, but I want another one. Hey, let's learn a little bit more about these teams that we've got coming up, of course, especially in this first match. It's going to be very interesting. Northeastern and Emerson.
And each match is going to be, I think we talked about it earlier, it's going to be best of 3s. We got ourselves 3 matches. Hopefully, I want to see 3 maps each time. There's going to be 3 predetermined map types. We got ourselves control, escort, or control, hybrid, then escort. And we have 6 players starting on each roster, along with alternates, which are going to be subbed in between each maps, up to 3 alternates for each team. And we have Ash on this patch live. We're going to be playing with Ash.
Is going to be live.
I hope to see her play, the 29th hero.
Well, it's time to meet the teams, though, Connor. Let's jump in and see. Let's put some faces to some names.
We've got the best players in Boston. We've got the best support staff in Boston. We just got such a great group of guys, and we got me at the head. Northeastern University, we're super strong in esports, in Overwatch and outside. We are top 10 in TESPA right now. We're Rocket League national champions. Counter-Strike team is undefeated. We have one of the top 20 Smash players in the world. Overall, we're really confident as an organization. We're really excited to rep them in Overwatch.
The other schools should fear us because they're not watching us. We've been watching them. We've been looking at their coaching, looking at their gameplay, and they haven't even given us a second thought. They're gonna regret that. We're excited to be the underdogs. We've worked hard for this. We're ready to go up against the toughest competition that we can find in the area, and we're ready to prove our stuff. We've put a lot of time and effort into this. We're ready to see that time and effort be rewarded. We may not have the same history as the other teams, but history has to start somewhere. And we say it's going to start today.
Some strong words being bandied around already here early on in the Uprising Collegiate Cup. Once again, this is how it is all going to work out. So best of 3s all the way through, including in that grand final. No assault maps, control, hybrid, and escort onlys, and of course substitutes are available, but again, that Ash potential is very spicy, but you heard what was talked about, Connor, in these videos. Northeastern are very reasonably confident. I mean, as a roster, they've been very, very strong from the outset. Here's the map set. Nepal will be first up.
And I expect GOATs I really do. I expect a lot of goats, but I want to see experimentation. I want to see these teams use their flexibility. We talked about with both of them earlier, they like to be flexible. They like to run counter goats. They love to play DPS. They love to play Ana. And with Ash in the pool, it just gives more to them to do both. And also, you know, I gotta say, I still have a little bit of goosebumps from those intro videos. I don't know if it's the weather or if it was actually well produced. I felt I got chills.
Let's go with Occam's Razor and assume it's a little bit of both.
A little bit of
both,
both, yeah.
But I tell you what, you know, it's very interesting to hear from Emerson because they're a team that has are starting to really invest in developing an esports space and an esports scene at the school. But prior to this point, they haven't had a lot of accolades as an Overwatch team. They're quite early on. I spoke to a few of the players and they said, look, we haven't really been playing together for very long. So they're still developing a lot of that synergy. However, we did get to see a lot of them play through the qualifiers. If you actually know some of these players, you might have seen their personal streams because that's where they played their qualifiers from. They had to play 2 best-of-3s to sort of get to this top 4 in the first place. But Northeastern have a couple top 500 players on there. Extremely confident. It was funny, we were actually just sitting down here in the front row and the teams were playing, and obviously they were, they didn't want to play against each other, but they wanted to warm up somehow. So both teams simultaneously queued up a quick play. Guess what happened? They got queued against each other.
That's a classic Q
we
snipe.
We
That
had
is a Q
Emerson
snipe
versus
if I've ever
Northeastern
seen.
playing quick play here. This is the setup. Obviously, you can see us in the corner. What's up? Hello.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Mum.
I'm waving in the corner right
so
there.
it's a very intimate setting. We're sort of tucked into the Laugh Comedy Club here as well. We do have a live audience as well. I see you guys out there. Thank you so much for being here. What a great vibe. Very intimate feel here as well. Players are getting hyped up. So you'll be able to hear these players. Like the crowd here is going to be able to hear them. It's a very sort of close sort of setting, which is going to be a lot of fun. Now, how this one works out in terms of how the game's going, how the seriousness goes.
They're going to be screaming at each other, so they won't hear us. They won't hear us. They're going to be screaming at each other.
I'm like, to communicate with each other, these guys are going to have to yell at each other through those mics because I'm pretty sure that the crew down here in Boston will make some noise, especially if their favourites start to show up. But hey, so we've seen a broad overview of these teams' goals, their aspirations, but we want to take a little bit deeper and introduce you to the faces, the names. So let's go and meet individually the players on the Northeastern roster.
My name is Matt Lucido. I'm from Reading, Connecticut, and play Flex DPS.
My name is Mason Lin. I'm from Washington, D.C., and I play main tank for Northeastern University.
My name is Mike Kim from Philly, Pennsylvania, and play main support for Northeastern University.
I'm Riley Cowell from Winnipeg, Manitoba. I play off tank for Northeastern University.
My name is Kurt Dean. I'm from Wellesley, Massachusetts, and I play Flex support for Northeastern University.
My name is Kalaku. I'm from Singapore, and I play Hitscan DPS for Northeastern University.
They're looking confident.
Absolutely. The Huskies are here to draw some blood. There's actually 2 teams.
There's 2
represented by the
Huskies.
Husky
Well,
logo.
isn't one of them Wolves?
Yeah, no, UConn are Huskies as well.
Oh, UConn Huskies as well. Wow.
There you have it. I mean, look, this roster, obviously, look, Matt and Woe, to my understanding, at the very least, those 2 are top 500 players on Overwatch. This roster has been together since about January of this year. So a lot of time to prepare. They've actually had LAN experience. They played, against the Boston University's team. The Boston University hosted LAN, which would have been a couple months ago. So these guys not only have been able to cut their teeth online, they've been able to play against a lot of these other teams in the scene. They've had plenty of practice time. Individually, they're very skilled players. So this is definitely the Goliath in this particular matchup. I think it's pretty safe to say. Like looking at these teams, Connor, especially in collegiate esports, we do often see like weird metas or no meta at all, and sometimes mismatches here. We have a top 4 that have made their way through. I still think Northeastern are the favorite here.
I agree. Northeastern is the favorite. They're so strong. They're so confident. I mean, their SRs are very high. Honestly, their SRs are
big
brains, looking a
big
little
SRs.
high on there. But they're just looking really, really strong. They're looking together. But it's anyone's game. At the end of the day, Ash is live. Who knows how that changes up? It changes anything. It could.
If at all. Obviously, some of these maps may not lend themselves that well to GOATs, but we met Northeastern. Let's now go, get some FaceTime with the crew from Emerson.
My name is John Lyons. I'm from Lincoln, New Hampshire, and I play off tank.
I'm George Capaldo. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, and I play DPS.
My name is Austin Litt. I'm from South Florida, and I play off support.
My name is Curtis Soviet from Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and I play main tank.
My name is Cameron Lee Wong from Los Angeles, California, and I play main healer.
My name is Jason Kim. I'm from Houston, Texas, and I play DPS.
Brian and Nikki, Los Angeles, California, DPS.
And there you have it, Emerson College. It's a specialist college for visual media arts as well. Like you'll see like a lot of employees from companies such as Riot and Blizzard are actually alumni.
And we saw that production in their video. It looked
Absolutely,
really good.
yeah.
There's all the VMA there.
Big shout out to the team behind putting that video together as well. It's great to get like a deeper look at just what these guys are planning to do. So a lot of the players on Emerson are sort of film students, so whether it would be visual media arts or animation. Some of them, like their communication studies in the mix there as well. So this is very much their domain. Obviously, games is very much a part of that for a lot of these guys as well, whether it be in the creation of said games or whether it be in the marketing of it or in film in general. So. In terms of like some of their SRs though as well, like we're seeing, a lot of these guys are very high. Like all of these players almost universally are very good at the game. I would say on average a little bit lower than Northeastern, but it's what you got coming up today. So we'll catch up with Huck later on. I'm going to get some FaceTiming with him. We're going to strap the gloves on and go a few rounds. Then we're going to also hang out with Gamsu and Note, which is going to be really good. You're going to be reunited
that'll
with
be me.
Some
I'll
of your
be
own
doing those
teammates.
interviews with the old lads, with the old players. I'm really excited to see them again. And I wasn't able to yesterday because we were flying.
Yeah,
so it's going to be reunion on camera. We're going
to
have a little bit of reunion there. And then also we have our lovely DX Racer sponsors still that are being given away throughout the entire day. Someone here in the audience.
That's right. So we're not going to throw it at you, so don't worry about that one too much.
We might. It would be really exciting.
No, we could launch it. We have to get it over the PCs in front of us so we don't have to play. All right, it's an idea. We'll work on that one, ladies and gentlemen. But as you see, lobby is pretty much set up. Guys are ready to go in just a moment here. And, I will, as a forewarning to people sort of tuning in at home as well, the players will be coming in and out. They will be setting up and all that sort of stuff. We'll jump in the game in just a moment here. So we'll see if there are any delays as a result of that, but we'll be running a pretty tight ship here, not myself and Connor, but of course they've run behind the scenes.
Our ship is tight too.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah,
we keep them sails trimmed.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely. That's some more nautical terms than I'm familiar with. I haven't been on that much boating. You're from an island, so I guess North America is a big island.
Easy to forget it's an island, I guess. We're going to be jumping in just a moment here. So Northeastern are going to be on that blue side. Emerson on the red to be starting things off with. Northeastern mentioned that they may not necessarily just be sticking to playing goats. They have some other options. Like, for example, UConn, for example, said that they will try and avoid it if they can. Now, whether that, Connor, is the best approach, I don't know.
Maybe an interesting approach to take, but I like seeing flexibility. I've talked about before. I want to see teams, if you're not necessarily super comfortable or maybe even feel better on a different meta than what actually is meta, which is that goats, utilize your flexibility. Utilize the heroes that you are really, really good at playing. And we're going to roll out here on Sanctum, which is a goat's favorite map, but it looks like we're seeing a Hamtaro, a hamster, and a Rissa on the other side of an Emerson. So they're playing a little bit more static, while Northeastern playing that a little bit more dive-centric.
Well, Burn Pumps does look like he wants to start off with a wrecking ball. He was going to be very...
That's a ride.
Did he drop over?
Yeah.
Oh, no, Burn Pumps is on it. We'll see it on the side of Emerson anyway. So Matt is going to be on the Brigitte here. Normally the pocketed Farah Northeastern. Now it will be a bit of a goats roll out here from the crew, and Alliance will be helping lead the charge as Blanco moves up onto the point. Now they've circled around behind Emerson, so they've caught them unaware, and against an Orisa comp, this seems to be quite effective.
Great aggression here from Northeastern, just pushing directly into the side of Emerson. And Orisa, she's not very fast. She is a horse, but she can't actually run that fast. And they just ran into the Orisa, they sweeped up the fight, they used the brawl comp of the goats, they wiped them off the field. And really well played from Northeastern for that first
engage. You see what you could do with that Lucio as well. If you could just get past that Orisa barrier, force her to try and use it on cooldown, or maybe put her in a position where she doesn't have it, makes it very hard. Immediately Burn Pumps and Cove switch back now towards that Ryan-centric composition, and it is essentially the goats. So Gaza now is
they're still fighting here at the doors. Look at this ult charge here, Uber. They're so far ahead in ult charge. This is a fight that Northeastern should win. The Shatter comes out. It is blocked though. Oh wait, no, late Shatter. They do get him out.
Emerson went for an early shield bash there on that enemy Reinhardt, and Blanco said, okay, well I'll be unstunned, and then I'm going to Shatter after. And it doesn't look great for Emerson. They tried to take initiative early in the fight by getting that early stun. It doesn't pay off for them. Couple, I guess, bonus things for them is that they will have a Shatter coming into the next fight.
Going back from spawn and then dropping the Shatter.
Still a bit of risk associated with this.
And he cleans them up too. Burn Pups, he just got 3 people right there. That's incredible. Look at this fight. They're so incredible, Uber. I keep on wanting to call you ZP, by the way, because that's my cat.
I wouldn't be offended. That's fine. I mean, Burn Pups, there are situations where that can be bad, right? If you charge out of spawn, the enemy team is actually there ready to fight, but this kind of backfires a little bit on the side of Northeastern. They overextend perhaps a little bit. They obviously do get initially charged there by Burn Pups as they push out.
A heavy chase from Northeastern into spawn. Maybe a little bit too aggressive, but I think that was just a hero play.
Burn Pups
that was a hero play.
As well.
He did, and he cleaned up after he pinned the right.
Well, look, I don't mind if you use your shadow off the point. If it results in you getting the point, I guess that's okay. Graviton Surge here for Woe is definitely a consideration, but he knows that Defense Matrix is going to make this a little bit harder to navigate, so he'll be safe on it. Matt, though, initially finds Urchin straight away, so the brick battle being won by Northeastern. Woe's still looking for an opportunity to get in there, but right now, it should just be a matter of time.
They're just saving the grab here. They think they can clean up this fight. D.Va getting T-Mac on the point. Another shadow from Buildup in that fight, by the way. He built another one, but the fight's over. It's been cleaned up. Really good engage with the rally from Northeastern onto the point, and that's going to be them recapping.
And again, such is the way with Goats or this triple tank, triple support composition that their first pick can snowball very quickly. Getting a player advantage can often become a player advantage of 2 or more.
So now this ult bank as well for Northeastern. The ult bank, they're far ahead. Right here, they should be holding very
aggressively.
aggressively.
There's no reason that they should ever lose control of the point
not
again.
at all.
We'll see what the engagement looks like. Woe trying to play off the side. Oh, it's in! Straight into the defense matrix. Can't be happy about that one. And Storm Innocence, thank you very much. Now the Earth Shatter coming down from Blongo. It's unclear to see how many people were actually caught in that one, as the Transcendence was sort of being played in over that fight, much to the benefit, of course, of Northeastern. Now the fight continues. Burn Pumps again, an early casualty. Matt finds him once more, not only a Dynamo on a Farah, it's also the Brig that he finds his home, and the second pick there on Austin Space. And again, a very, very difficult job this will be for Emerson to retake. We're in overtime now. Storm is attempting to try to get in with the Graviton Surge. He is heavily charged up, but it's not going to be enough. Matt runs him down. Lee's going to be cornered off in the middle of the map, and that should be done for Northeastern here. Just a couple of cherries on top, and the first round should be going over to the favorite here.
Great plays from Northeastern. They did use a lot of ults in that previous fight while they were coming to point, but they were just able to fight on point, get great value out of their defense, just mitigate Emerson's ults on the fight, and they just cleaned it up. Well played overall. I like their aggression in particular. Aggression in Goats is so important. And they were aggressive. They were extremely aggressive.
So something about this. The man on the screen right now is Matt. He was starting off a lot of those fights by actually, as Brig getting a kill on the enemy Reinhardt or the enemy Brigitte. Now, that can be quite risky, though, can it not? To play so aggressively, like, I guess, ahead of your own Reinhardt
Playing so
shield?
aggressively ahead of your Ryan, you can often be forced to use your Zarya bubbles. Just try to protect your Brig, and now you don't have it for your own Ryan. If you do the Bash Shatter combo, then, or just Bash, because Reinhardts have a habit of being Houdini'd in this meta, where you just get Zen Orbed and then you disappear. You're gone. You're just disappeared from this life.
I like that.
So it has trade-offs. There's a lot of trade-offs when playing that style, but it worked out because they're all coming together with Matt while he's playing that Brig and getting the picks.
Yeah, but a lot of those fights build up to critical mass, right, where the enemy Zarya is 100% charged, and as soon as that Ryan shield drops down, there's just an avalanche of damage that comes down. Blongo, though, on the wrecking ball on this particular map, and it is going to be the Sombra Farah setup that we've heard about from Northeastern. They've said this is how we sort of like to break down Goat's compositions, but with this comp, they have to fight on the point. Blongo getting started up immediately, of course, reactive shield is going to keep quite comfortable. Is this going to be harder for Matt to really get damage done?
The point presence here for Emerson, by the way, is so good with that Mei, and it is a lot harder for him to get damage done when they're playing so tight, but they've come outside the point, they're getting the picks, right as we cash the it, by the way, Uber, and they're just going to be cleaning up here on point. Matt getting so much value, dropping the barrage, there's the wall, and, he just got to drop that one.
Credit where it's due, though. The rest of the Northeastern roster that went around to the left side of the point pulled Emerson away so that Matt can actually get in the back door, a couple of unanswered shots, a finish over on one of the supports. I think he found Austin Space first of all, and then he could sort of play a little bit more aggressively, knowing that they would have some protection for him after in the form of Alliance's defense matrix. So you kind of like to see that, sneaking in the back door and getting the damage done, which is often very dangerous. Storming is switching onto the McCree here.
McCree, I mean, obviously you need that to counter the Pharah. You don't want to be free shot everywhere when you go. Eevee coming out early here on the choke, getting the picks, Capacity just getting a frag, the Hammond just running through them. And there's a more ult actually used for Leap, maybe a little late, but honestly I would like to see a swap.
What particular swap do you want to see?
Zen. I want to see Zen. Or maybe an Ana, because you can actually counter the Pharah a little bit. Ana's very good at that.
At least,
you can pressure. But I think Zen is the best bet here, especially if we're going to continue with this Goats composition. But I see an Ana Ashe, the double A.
Oh, how do you feel about that then?
I think it'll be interesting to see, at least, because we just talked about Ana's really good at pressuring that Pharah.
That's right.
Ashe as well, she's so strong, and I've shared this video with you, I think it's better McCree. Here comes the engage from Northeastern on the choke. Nano on the Matt, and yeah, it's still Matt on Pharah. There's a giant barrage though, Nano barrage, great combo.
Look at the durability that Matt has, It's almost as good as having the Zarya bubble that lasts for a little bit longer. He knows that he can hang suspended in midair, use the barrage, and no, there's not really going to be too much done about that? And before you know it, this first map is almost already over. 73% to 0.
That's a
Northeastern killing
huge
it.
time advantage here for Koth. And Koth winning that first fight is also really big. Emerson did get that early cap, but they just weren't able to follow up. And Matt just playing so aggressively, so confident. Like we saw, they were talking about earlier, that's how he likes to play. Here comes the Diva Bomb, the engage on the top high ground looking for him, and they do get the Ash.
I mean, that mild lack of mobility on Storminus's Ashes seemed to have hurt him in that case. They need that damage in this particular fight. Emerson are running out of resources rather quickly. Carson de-suited. Matt forced to back away. Ever pocketed by Dogs, who, by the way, is allergic to them.
Yeah, he is allergic to dogs. And they're just cleaning up the fight here for Northeastern.
I mean, Matt getting slipped there, it's just the cherry on top, really, but there's nothing that Emerson can do about it at all. Very strong first map here for Northeastern. And now, the score is 1-0. Northeastern lead in maps. Emerson yet to find theirs, as this first map falls 2 rounds to 0 in favor.
A pretty quick map,
Huskies.
Uber. It was a pretty quick map. I was well played from Northeastern. I mean, and Koth is the map for aggression. And they were just, like we talked about earlier, aggressive. They did very well. They were into them. They were trying to get the picks, trying to counter. And Matt, he just played so, I would have to say, just unbelievably aggressive in that Pharah.
He was, but he also identified the windows and where this was actually going to be acceptable to do that, you know, especially when he had that nano boost. And the Ana pick came, the Ana pick wasn't maybe the issue, but the Ash pick came fairly late in the day, don't you feel?
It did,
you feel like
it
you
did
got
come a little
one fight in which the enemy Pharah was nanoed and then the Ash got EMP'd. It seemed very, very hard for Emerson to get back into the fight once they sort of identified what they needed to provide.
Especially once the ults were up. I mean, you just take the fight at the choke, Uber, and that's what they did. They had their ults. They fought them there at the choke. They just didn't let them use the space, even though they got a counter with the Ash, with the Ana, and that's exactly how you want to use all that bank you've been building in the Koth fight previously.
It's very difficult as well for them to, well, they had some difficulty when dealing with the Wrecking Ball pressure as well. I mean, Village is that kind of map as well, where Wrecking Ball can get to some very interesting angles and spend most of the downtime in between the fights just setting up a route and swinging around and then just coming down on top of you. If you're not, you know, using that Lucio speed boost sort of quite liberally, or if you are using it too liberally, then it can be a problem to actually avoid the big knock-up. And we saw they tried to combo the Diva Self-Destruct to have a knock-up sort of towards the end of the round.
Which is well played. I like to see those micro plays. I like to see them utilizing one ult, but just setting it up with a cooldown instead of another ult. And Blanco played that Hammond actually very, very well, because you don't want to feed on main tank. That's pretty much the end of the game. You can't feed. You're not a soup kitchen. You're not giving out free meals. You have to be playing safe. You can't be dying without you don't need to.
Absolutely.
Especially when there's so much sustain going into Matt. And that's where you want the resources going, is into Matt. Blanco can't be taking that.
And on your screen there is Allianz, by the way, trying to warm up. But, you know, you can warm your cheeks. You can also warm your rear end. We'd like to thank our partner, DX Racer, for providing us and the great college players with such comfortable and supportive chairs. Head on over to dxracer.com. You can actually get up to 35% off through their holiday sale right now, so it's a good time to pick yourself one up. I think I actually have this same one at home, to be honest. Or a similar one anyway. I like to recline, you know what I mean?
It's a very beautiful looking chair. And for a beautiful looking man like yourself.
Thank you.
You
know,
need a chair like
I'm all about that lumbar support, you know, man. That's how I keep myself looking young and fresh. I know it's some voodoo stuff, but it is real. So map number 2 is Numbani. A very different landscape, naturally, but also very different opportunities for compositions on this map.
There is. I mean, the verticality in particular, especially for first point and second, there's just so much more room to move. There's so much more flank maneuvers to be had. I think it actually really enables people to not have to play goats. If you want to play more of that Sombra, more of that Pharah, even dive. I think dive can be very viable here. And I know that both teams really want to use their flexibility, and they really don't want to have to be forced on those tank-heavy compositions despite their strength.
No substitutions for either roster yet, although Emerson have brought an entire cohort of secondaries to bring in if they do need them. It's going to be pretty much straightforward. So we've had a lot of time to talk about Matt. Of course, Matt and Woe being the DPS players on Northeastern were able to show, I guess, a lot of their strengths in that previous map, and we'll probably continue to do so. Blanco as well as 4.4K player from Washington, D.C. And he does love a bit of the Wrecking Ball. He's a big fan of it.
He talked a lot about the Wrecking Ball in his feedback sessions, especially when we talked with him earlier.
Yeah, we're hanging early with some of these
and
guys.
it does fit well with how they want to play, where they want to enable Matt, they want to enable Woe, they want to enable those strong DPS players to make space for them, and they're just all on the same page. But they are playing Winston, no Hammond, out on the field. Northeastern. It looks like they're going to be running that Pharah Sombra comp again here on the defense.
How does that interact, do you feel, with like a dive offense?
with a dive offense, it's really, once again, you don't want to have your DPS players caught out. You want to make sure your backline is staying alive since you're running Ana. There's no Lucio on the field, so the peel for that backline is integral, making sure that you can win the fight because the dive will be looking to try to find someone that can't get away.
Stormin is doing just that right now. Would like to just ward Woe away from his backline for the time being. Doesn't want Sombra getting too early on that EMP. Storm arrows come out just to try and make short work of Blongo's health pool, but Urchin's now committed to the point. He can't really leave, and he's been pressured down by Matt. He finds the rocket. Carson trying to pick up the pieces here, but it's going to be a little bit tough after he's lost both of his supports, and Burn Pups wasn't far behind either. The dive offense from Emerson falls flat.
Getting that pick onto the mercy of Dogs, very strong. Able to not have that sustain for the Pharaoh, not have that sustain for the rest of the field is very big, but they got drawn to the point, and that is actually where Northeastern thrives because they're just able to pick them apart as they walk towards it. They were just corralling them towards there, getting their HP low, and looking for an engage as they did.
They've got like this disengage retake defense, right? They're like, so if you want to move on to the point. Oh!
Okay, Urchin.
Okay! From downrange, that is a huge pick now. Can be rezzed by Dogs if he can get there. What Emerson want to do is continue by applying pressure, so there's no option to resurrect that Pharaoh. It looks like that's worked out for them. They found Kumpatsy as well. Both supports now down, and this is starting to open up much more for Emerson. This is the result that they were looking for. What a huge opening on towards that Pharaoh. And now the dominoes just fall.
Great pick from Urchin, and even better aggression from the rest of Emerson. Onto the point, preventing the res. The fight isn't completely over, but they've taken control of the point now. They're backing up. Their HP isn't there. The heroes aren't there. There's no way they can stop this on the side of Northeastern. Emerson playing so well coming towards that point. Oh, they're still recommitting again, actually. And back, it's 3!
3 on the barrage, yep. That Collegiate Overwatch Filet's in, but anything could happen. Storminus tries to recover, though, with the Dragon Blade. But it's really just him for the time being. His main tank has just arrived. Burn Pups gets there, tries to shield him, but Blongo finds him. He lands on top and finds 2. It is chaotic Overwatch. That is what we love to see, though. Burn Pups now with the primal range on the point, but not really anyone to back himself up, maybe hoping to knock them off the point so we could finish the cap, but it's just not going to happen, Connor.
Unfortunate. The hack Winston, he's sort of there. He's the Duracell ult battery there, where he just feeds an incredible amount. Not his fault, though. I mean, the hack is so strong. And, you know, we cashed the curse it a little bit with that recontest, but honestly, that was incredible. The fact they set it up so well, too, with the Matrix. The Matrix just keeping him alive that entire time. From Allianz, it was great.
Northeastern have a good composition for sort of being unseated from the point and moving back into position to retake it. Big shout out to Urchin. Very impressive performance from him as a freshman in communication studies over at Emerson. Urchin finds another Kumpatsy falls. Unfortunately, this pick comes just a little too late in the day.
Yeah, a little too late, and great EMP usage as well from Woe. They're using it as a counter ult. Instead of being aggressive, they're actually letting them get onto them, then EMP. They have no cooldowns. They were able to hit a fat nade from Kumpatsy as well. And I believe he was also one of those people that said in the Q&A, the feedback sessions, like, you know what, I love fat nades.
Yeah,
he hit one there.
all about them nades.
Looks like they're just going to be going to this point again here, Uber. Setting up. Emerson, their win conditions aren't quite there yet. They still don't have the blade just yet. They don't have nano. They do have some take ults coming up on the field, but those are their win conditions. But this is still their best shot. There aren't any ults,
They'll
really.
have to use those ults as they come. Good start. Kumpatsy falls very quickly on that high ground. Carson was able to run him down, and Burn Pups now trying to chase down Dogs, of course, on that Mercy, who just slips away. And Matt now is going to come to the rescue of his support. Comes in with a barrage, finds 2. He does fall to the self-destruct, but that's the team kill gone. And Emerson are out of time and are out of options.
Dogs' mobility, his survival there was so good. He was 1 HP at one point, being chased around the map. They were just trying to get him there. Everything was focused on Dogs. He was able to get away, and Matt dropping that barrage as they were chasing Dogs and just cleaning up the frags. So, I mean, once again, just everything looks polished. It's all together. The gears are just turning perfectly for Northeastern.
I mean, and in the best of 3 format, these matches could go quite quickly. If we see such dominant performances from teams like Northeastern their defense was, well, I'll put it this way. It may only take a couple tries on this offense for them to secure control of the point. We've seen them be very effective, obviously, previously on Nepal. Obviously, Matt is showing up on the far, a sophomore, obviously studying business at Northeastern. He was a TF2 player as well. A soldier player back at TF2.
Yeah, he was. I had that conversation with him earlier because I was also from that scene as well earlier. I'm going to go into a quick pause here. I'm assuming a DC perhaps?
Yeah, so we may have just had a pause here. It could be one of the players, just like peripheral issue, but we're going to be back in the game in just a moment. So a couple of reasons that might have been the case, or maybe someone wasn't ready. Generally speaking, they should all be pretty ready. They got their hand warmers.
We are moving very quickly here, and everyone's pumped up. They're trying to just keep going, keep the matches going.
Well, we're going to try and do this whole broadcast, by the way, without like ad breaks.
Yeah.
So for those that you're watching on Twitch, you know that that's not normal at all. So, we're just going to be
we're high
blistering
energy.
through.
We're very high energy duo. We don't need breaks.
So, when we announced that they were doing it, someone tweeted me, he's like, would there be too much energy in this cast?
Absolutely
I'm
not.
like, oh, there will be just
enough.
There will
not be any
energy. There will be just enough, bro.
Or there will be not enough energy, I should say. We could do more. We could do more, really.
We keep it on lock here, fam. Right? We know where our limits are. Right? We don't want to KO 10 times 100 you.
I keep going forever.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Try and make competition out of this kind of. We're going to be here all year, mate. Anyway, it's going to be Emerson now to defend. Again, they're going to bring that Ash in here for Storminess, the hit scan player of the team, and well, it had limited success on Nepal, I think it's safe to say.
It did have some limited success, but Dynamite very strong, especially on these choke points. Here comes Northeastern just taking the high ground here, trying to corral them off the top and then pressure them towards the point. That's going to be the wickedness as they chase the Ash through the back hallways.
No.
Will they get him? Okay, well, Woe does manage to get him on the chase there.
No coach gun available. Storminess couldn't put any distance between himself and Woe. It's slow and steady, but this is how you win the race. Northeastern understand that apparently more than anyone here. And pick by pick, they make their way forward. And to be honest with you, it's going to be a matter of Emerson only having had 10 or 15 minutes to really play Overwatch here. They've been bundled out. They've been sent back home already.
Very clinical from Northeastern. I mean, everything was just right. It's what they wanted. They crowded the pinch point. They played their win conditions perfectly. Great play, great individual, but still, great map overall. I think both sides still, we could see the talent in Emerson. Maybe, they were very short staff, very last minute. Their whole origin as them as a team right now, that's collegiate for you. But I think the talent's also there for them, and they're driven.
Absolutely. So, I mean, these guys, a lot of these players, they're existing in the same spheres as a lot of our open division contenders play. They're playing, or even with some Overwatch League players on ladder, they're getting that kind of experience. But that was quick, and in the best of 3, that's all she wrote. Very dominant showing here, and look, many people coming into this tournament did expect this match to be a little one-sided, and potentially also our next best of 3. So we do have our number 1 and number 2 seeds are looking decidedly strong, especially after the early days. And Dogs on the
Pogs
mercy.
for dogs. I see it right there in the back.
Yeah.
Pogs for dogs, indeed.
So man on your screen there. Dogs obviously, just getting his pocket on, making sure that he's keeping Matt alive for the most time.
Matt's a very hungry Pharah. He needs those heals. He's very greedy.
Exactly. And Dogs
he loves to talk about being greedy, too.
Oh, no, he'll tell you.
He'll let you know.
Okay, look, I don't mind if you have an ego, as long as you're self-aware. Matt's like, look, I know that I get pocketed. I'm like the most pocketed player ever. Dogs is actually in his 5th year of college. So obviously at Northeastern they do a lot of placements, they do a lot of work experience modules. So he's like a super senior, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, Uprising fans, you can enter the Boston Uprising season opener sweepstakes for your chance to win a trip to see the Uprising play their first match of the 2019 season at the Blizzard Arena in Los Angeles. Almost the same price as what these guys are playing for. So it's going to be a round trip with air travel and hotel accommodations for you and a friend, along with tickets to the match, of course, and limited edition Boston Uprising jerseys. So you're getting the swag as well. 5 runners-up also will receive a photo signed by the Boston Uprising players. And you can enter to win in person at either one of the remaining back to Boston fan events this Sunday and Tuesday. So if you're in the local area, you can enter in person at the fan events, or you can enter online, of course, bostonuprising.com/season opener, like it says on the screen. Get around it. And again, get yourself some nice merch and a trip over towards LA. You can come hang out, come say hi to us in the Blizzard Arena. 2019 Overwatch League is going to be a lot of fun.
A photo signed by them, huh? I hope it's Gamsu.
Yeah.
Have you seen his jawline,
Gamsu in
by
his
the way?
chef outfit.
Have you seen Gamsu's jawline? It's incredible, right?
It's like carved from alabaster.
I mean,
he
could use it to. I think he can slice apart atoms. That's how razor thin that is.
They got him in the nuclear factory, right?
They're having him for fission. Like he's just going left and right. Hydrogen flying either side.
Split the atom with his chin. I'm sure that's a superhero power, but let's have a look at your Collegiate Cup bracket. And yes, already Northeastern have sprung ahead of the pack after that first match. Emerson College, unfortunately, just not quite able to give them the goods. And that will mean that they will go in and face the winner of Boston University versus the University of Connecticut, which would be our second semi-final. It's all happening here. And for the time being, the players now are going to switch over. Now, this is the interesting part, Connor. How quickly can we get like one set of players out and the other in? That's going to be very, very spicy.
This is where it really comes into play. How much you played Factorio? You ever played Factorio before, Mitch?
Yeah, tons.
Yeah, very much about optimization.
I mean, I got
and
up to
there.
I got up to we have to make like the third level of chips.
Oh.
And I was like, it was getting really complicated now. Like everything was sort of crossed over and stuff like that. It's much like a show like this, to be honest. A lot of moving parts. So
there are a lot of. I mean, that's the game. It revolves around moving parts.
I forgot about that game.
I know. It's because it's very tough. It really challenges you, and this is where I think it's an apt comparison here, is trying to get everyone in and out really quickly. And we have our second match coming up between Boston and UConn, and we talked with both of them a little bit before. And I think both sides, Boston, they felled Northeastern that last LAN event previously. It was, how long ago was that? I would believe it was a couple months now we talked about where they had that last LAN event between Boston and Northeastern. And they really want to come back and win it this time. They want to be emerging from this bracket. They want to be going to finals. They want to be facing Northeastern again in that final matchup. Yeah. And they prove it. And UConn, they're looking a little bit scrappy. They were talking about how they didn't have jerseys, and neither does Boston.
That's right.
They
were annoyed that they didn't have jerseys.
But now neither sides have jerseys in this one, so it's fine.
Yes.
It's a very shirts v shirts situation.
Shirts v shirts.
Shirts v shirts. No skins.
Usually shirts v skins back in school.
Shirts v shirts.
Yeah, we're on Twitch here, fam. That's how we're going to do it. We'll talk about some of the events that are happening here locally as well. You can join the Boston Uprising tomorrow at Johnny Cupcakes on Newbury Street in Boston. You can stop by the store to meet Blase, Note, and Kellex for autographs between 3 and 5 p.m. Also, an exclusive Johnny Cupcakes designed Boston Uprising t-shirt will be available starting at 3 p.m. I've already seen it. It's great. Then on Tuesday, come to Dave & Buster's in the Providence Place Mall to meet your favorite Uprising players, enjoy arcade games, and shop their limited edition winter line of merchandise, which is only available, by the way, during the month of December at fan events and on the Uprising Shopify online store. All fans who purchase a $20 Dave & Buster's Eat and Play Combo Power Card will receive free unlimited video game play throughout the evening. Check out the URL on screen, bostonuprising.com/back to Boston, to get involved in donating toys to benefit children in need this holiday season. And Kapow, we talked about Houdini. How about this one? Chris, thank you so much for joining us. Nice to see you, man.
Love to be here. Love to be here.
I see you've rugged up. I walked out this morning and I couldn't believe just how cold it gets out here. It's crazy. Oh, you're from Canada, right? Like, you're used to this.
I mean, I grew up in Florida, but now, second home, Boston, so I'm getting used to it.
Now, obviously, you guys have been over in LA for a lot of the year. We've been sweltering under the heat. How does it feel, obviously, for yourself and for the team to come back now to home, essentially, as you put it?
It's been great. I mean, we have a lot of new players. They've never been to Boston. I think Jeff, even Aimgod from last year, he didn't make the trip because we picked him up so late in the year. So for them to kind of see, what they're going to call home, the fans, everyone that's going to be here, it's really exciting. They're having lots of fun. Very busy because there's a lot to see in Boston, but great trip so far.
I mean, I saw some of the photos coming out from the fan meet last night. I couldn't believe how many people they packed into the one room. So it's great to see all the fans get out here. And I mean, and this is kind of cool, right? Where we're out here at a collegiate event. Obviously, you're dealing with, the top level of Overwatch players, in your position, in charge of things at the Boston Uprising. But this is obviously, the grassroots and where that's built up from. How cool is it to kind of see, the collegiate scene and what's been churning along with it here locally?
I mean, it's great. You never know really, how you're going to get it picked up, how you're going to get noticed, right? We're known for picking up diamonds in the rough. Actually, when I picked up Bleeple, it was a collegiate tournament in Toronto when he was playing for Toronto University.
That's right.
Right? So there's a lot of, potential to find, those people, whether it's staff or players or, whether they're just cool people that you want to talk to. There's a lot of skill here. So, building blocks towards the future and what we're looking forward to do in the home market and then, for us personally.
That's fantastic. It's cool to see these players now, and a lot of them, like, they're playing up top 500. Like, they're running into Overwatch League players, and they're able to study at the same time, which is really cool. I mean, I'm sure you've been super busy right now. I won't keep you for too long, but let's talk a little bit about next year. I mean, what are you looking forward to? What are you guys doing to get ready for it? Because I'm sure it's going to be another intense sort of block of games and scrims and practice.
Yeah, I mean, we're really focused on just getting the year started. As soon as we get back from this trip to LA, that's when we really start practice.
Yeah.
You know, obviously we want to focus on some issues. Last year was very grueling. So
It was long. It was long.
Yeah. To address burnout, just get the guys to be healthier. In general, just to practice harder, make sure that they're optimizing their time, things like that. We're really excited. We're obviously trying to repeat the results of year 2 plus improve on them.
Yep.
So those are that's a pretty high bar of expectations, but
No
we
doubt
think
about
we can reach
yeah.
it.
I mean, you set your own standards sometimes
Yes.
in this particular league, and then you've got to sort of beat it next year. Chris, thank you so much for joining us here and for hanging out, of course. And for you guys here as well, you'll see this man around, so feel free to have a chat to him and hang out. Thank you guys so far for joining us. We're going to be jumping into our second semi-final after this, so don't go too far. We'll be back in a few moments. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Laugh Boston here in the Seaside District of downtown. My name's Mitch Leslie. I'm here with Connor Prince, and we've already seen our first semi-final, and it wasn't a close one. Northeastern all over Emerson in that first match. Just 2 maps was all it took. And our second semi-final is just around the corner. I mean, any quick thoughts from that first match? Of course, we didn't have much time to really break it down, but it didn't seem like there was too much to it.
Northeastern looked really good. They looked really good.
Oh, man, you should come to Al. You got that positive spin. I love to see it.
They looked very, very good. But, I mean, we talked about Emerson. It's a new squad. You know, they haven't had much time to gel. Northeastern has already had that experience under their belt. But Northeastern looked really, really dominant. Not that I'm going to count Emerson out in the future, you know?
Reasonable.
Not that I'm going to count Emerson
We've got a couple more schools to make the acquaintance of now, of course. We've got 2 more going head-to-head in this tournament. Boston University and, of course, University of Connecticut Gaming Club, or we're going to call them UConn for ease of reference. Let's now jump in and get to know these guys a little bit more.
We're the Boston home team. They should know that. They have to understand that. I am very grateful and very excited to be able to compete at this level. But I know more than anything, our drive and willingness to compete is in the places at the top. As Boston's home team, the advantage this gives us is the confidence to know that we're going to be representing home turf and the drive to defend our crown. BU, Boston Uprising, Boston University, match made in heaven. In all honesty, 100-0. Full destruction, full domination, baby. We want to prove our dominance and defend our crown. This is home turf, baby. We're here to defend it.
As an outsider in this tournament, we're not feeling too much pressure. We're an unknown force, and people are scared of the unknown. I'm Ryan, runner 48, captain of the UConn Gaming Club team.
I'm not really that scared. I'm pretty confident going into this. I don't think the other teams really stand a chance against us. We're here to win. We're here to get our trip to LA. We're here to show all of Boston that UConn is a big force. So we've already taken over Connecticut, and we're coming to Boston, and we're going to show them how we play Overwatch.
We are definitely not here to play, and we can definitely pack a punch.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, well, I made a few calls. I made a few calls to City Hall, and I've said, Mayor of Boston, divert all of your internet power to us right here at Laugh Boston. Hook us up so we can show some of this New England collegiate talent to the world. They, of course, acquiesced after giving us the keys to the city. That's just how it be around here. Great to be back, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Mitch Leslie.
A lot of demands. A lot of demands from Mitch. You elevated that to the highest power. You're ready to take the city to emergency mode, like divert everything.
Yeah,
we're
just far from martial law. That was like the next step. But here we are, we're back, and of course, it is our second semi-final that is just around the corner. We had a couple of technical hiccups, and now we are sort of back and ready to hit the ground running. The players are pretty much set up. They're ready to jump in there, and we aren't too far away as well. I think I'm pretty limber.
Oh, I'm ready.
What about you?
I've been ready.
He's always ready. He was
I've
in
been
here.
So ready.
He was just chomping at the bit to get started.
I'm also less weighed down by breakfast than you.
Oh,
because you
I had
consumed an
so
incredible
much.
amount
Yeah,
of food.
I ate a lot of food. I mean, ZP does
it's like
too.
It's like a human, like, black hole. I couldn't see anything like that before.
Black holes are insanely heavy, so we'll give you that one.
Yeah.
All right, so let us now get to know a little bit more, or at least find out what drives both Boston University and University of Connecticut gamers.
We're the Boston home team. They should know that. They have to understand that. I am very grateful and very excited to be able to compete at this level. But I know more than anything, our drive and willingness to compete is in the places at the top. As Boston's home team, the advantage this gives us is the confidence to know that we're going to be representing home turf and the drive to defend our crown. BU, Boston Uprising, Boston University, match made in heaven. In all honesty, 100-0. Full destruction, full domination, baby. We want to prove our dominance and defend our crown. This is home turf, baby. We're here to defend it.
As an outsider in this tournament, we're not feeling too much pressure. We're an unknown force, and people are scared of the unknown. I'm Ryan, Runner 48, captain of the UConn Gaming Club team.
I'm not really that scared. I'm pretty confident going into this. I don't think the other teams really stand a chance against us. We're here to win. We're here to get our trip to LA. We're here to show all of Boston that UConn is a big force. So we've already taken over Connecticut, and we're coming to Boston, and we're going to show them how we play Overwatch.
We are definitely not here to play, and we can definitely pack a punch.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is Boston University and the University of Connecticut. Two teams. Boston obviously having had a little bit of experience in the local collegiate scene, having fallen to Northeastern recently at a LAN event that they themselves hosted. So obviously, they'll probably bruise their pride somewhat. I think they'd like to try and reclaim some of said pride, of course, but on top of that, there's much more to be claimed. The winning team, or the players of the winning team, will receive a round-trip flight to Los Angeles, 2 nights hotel stay in the LA area, and tickets to see the Boston Uprising play in a match during the 2019 Overwatch League season at the Blizzard Arena in Burbank, California. That's my hood, fam. Come hang out. That's what they're playing for, of course, and yeah, but we talked about it. You know, there's a little bit of that pride spiced on the top there.
And let's look over again at what the format's going to be here for the BO3s. After this game, we advance to the finals. We have our 3 predetermined map types.
No 2CP.
No 2CP. People do like that. And 6 players, both teams, 3 alternates, sub in after each map.
Yeah, we'll see if we get subs. I actually know that I saw UConn actually make some. I think it was UConn that actually made some subs throughout some of their matches earlier on. So here are your maps, though. So Lijiang Tower first up, King's Row, and then if we need it, Dorado. So a nice little mix. You know, we've got some Goats-friendly maps. We've got some Dives-friendly maps. We've got some, you know, maybe some opportunity for the fire as well.
We have some Dive Goats-friendly maps. We have some Dotes.
We have, apparently every map is a Dotes map.
I mean, it can be. It can be if you want. Goats are also a versatile aminal.
Obviously, this is Lijiang Tower to start things off here. Night Market will be presenting us with this kind of landscape. Obviously, this large open area to play through. And look, UConn is going to be an interesting team because I feel like they're almost like a mini Northeastern in some of the way that they play. We saw on camera there a couple of their players sort of talk up that they're the unknown factor. You know, no one knows what they're going to play. That's not true. I went through all their VODs before this. I know exactly what they're going to
We both did. We watched like 2-3 hours of ebb and flow. We watched a lot of ebb and flow gameplay.
That's right.
We saw some interesting swaps as well, where he would play Farah in the DPS comp and then Lucio in the Goats comp.
Love to see that. Yeah, I don't know where that came from.
We had to nail it down with him earlier. It's like, so is it like, are you guys like still doing some odd like Plinko, like how you select your comps, or then there's like, no, it's much more ironed out now.
So they say. Well, so we've seen a little bit about the teams and their motivations. Let's actually meet the players face to face. First up, Boston University.
My name is Joseph Yeb, but I go by the in-game name of Tico. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, and I play main tank.
Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Victor Wiseman. I'm from Long Island, New York. I go by the handle EasyV. It's for Easy Victor, and today is going to be an easy victory. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Woo Gun Kim. I come from South Korea. I go by the in-game name of Korean gamer, and my role is DPS.
Hi, my name is Shane Fu. Come from China. I go by the game name Sassy, and I play Flex Tank.
Hi, my name is Brian Nguyen. I go by Arctic, and I play Flex Support.
Hi, my name is Jack, and I'm from Hong Kong, and my role is DPS for Boston University.
My name is Ian Mallard. My in-game tag is Aeon, and I play Flex Support for Boston University.
My name is Jared Yellen. I go by Gitzera, and I play Flex Tank for Boston University.
I'm Takumo Katani, otherwise known as Real Tsunami, and I play main tank for Boston University.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is your Boston University. Time now, of course, to get face-to-face with the underdogs, UConn.
I'm Ryan Marsh from West Hartford, Connecticut, and I play support.
I'm Sean Kurz from New Britain, Connecticut, and I play support.
I'm Lucas Farrell. I'm from Orange, Connecticut, and I play main tank.
I'm Varun Itakuri. I'm from Orange, Connecticut, and I play DPS.
Hi, I'm Juan Torres. I'm from New Haven, Connecticut, and I play off tank.
I'm Evan Prostak. I'm from Easton, Pennsylvania, and I play DPS.
My name is Craig Wojciechowski from West Hartford, Connecticut, and I play DPS Flex.
And of course, Blue Jay has asked us not to try and pronounce his last
But
name.
I'll do it anyways.
Yes.
We had a talk with him.
We asked him to show us how it all goes, and he's told us. So some final thoughts on this particular matchup. You've seen a little bit of UConn. We've seen a little bit of Boston Uni, but where, I guess, is your inkling going initially?
I mean, Boston Uni has had that previous experience at LAN versus Northeastern. They just have a lot of strong players on that team as well.
Absolutely.
And they are coordinated. I mean, they're very well put together, I think. But I'm not going to count out UConn. They're scrappy. They've made it here, and I think that they have plenty of potential. They have plenty of flexibility as well. We talked about it. They do like to play a little bit more flexible style, but GOATs also is probably what they're going to be aiming towards.
Yeah.
But Boston, they do have Easy V, who, on top of having the most stereotypical New York vibe going ever
New Yorker,
in the history of all time.
It's got to be an easy win.
But he was also associated with PvP Minecraft.
Yeah.
Dante.
He was like a top PvP Minecraft
Boston's
player.
own Bleeple, the Bleeple Bridge creator, also from Minecraft.
Oh man. He's a larrikin. I like him. I like him a lot. Also, so like Mr. Mups and Varun are also childhood friends. Like they went to like middle school or high school together, as what I was told. And UConn didn't look great on GOATs in their qualifier games, I'll be honest. I wasn't super convinced. If they try and avoid it, I won't be too shocked, but that might just be playing into BU's hands. Boston University will be out of the gates, and they will be playing the GOATs composition. 3 tanks, 3 supports, with the Moira, interestingly enough.
Moira giving you a lot of sustain, a lot of ability to engage very fast. You just have to try to get value out of it before her resources are gone. While UConn, they have this Pharah, they have Tracer, a hero we haven't seen a lot of often, and they're going to be playing that Pharah Mercy, trying to get that damage, build up that barrage, and just not die to that GOATs rush. And they actually are getting picked really early onto Aeon.
So aggressive. Aeon comes forward with an aggressive Biotic Orb. However, Aeon, they were the only casualty on the side of Boston University early on in that fight. The rest seemed pretty well straightforward. You see Daktong there has had a very successful fight, nice and topped up, even with some energy to boot. Kind of fell apart early on there for UConn.
They got what they wanted out of the Moira pick, but they weren't able to back away from that engage. They lost people from the GOATs rush, where just all that meat is running at you, and you just get flattened, and you have to run away from it. And here comes the engage again for BU, trying to set it up on the point.
Oh, he tries for a barrage. That is so ballsy from Evanflow. Moves close, does actually get Tico, but is taken down by Sassy. He's brought back to life, so perhaps that they were just wanting to play aggressive around the Pharah and use that resurrect early. Player advantage early in the fight coming up for University. Connecticut here, but Rhino does go down. Easy he finds him there with a whip shot. Varun returning back to the point. Very well charged up now. But again, they run out of gas mid to late in the fight, and it's Boston that just weathered a storm. I mean, if I saw the intro video, I'm sure they've weathered many storms in their time.
They're weathering the storms. And it's
cold.
cold already. It's cold here just to begin with. We know that as well, right off the top of our heads, Mitch. But UConn playing this very interesting comp to those past 2 engages. They swapped the Zarya for the Tracer as well, but they still had Lucio Mercy. There was no heals, so past that initial engage, you actually didn't want to be being very aggressive. You wanted to be playing it. It's a slow game. You want to get the resources out of the Moira, and you want to get the barrage, set it up very well. And they're just going to walk into the point looking for another fight.
Again, this seems to be UConn's bread and butter right now, but it's not really working out. It's like the bread's falling off the table, butter side down, if you know what I mean. Fluffle's whining in a full. Varun also dropping in Boston. Not being pressured over much here.
And they're chasing. Oh my goodness.
But he puts Rhino in harm's way by staying so close here.
Jack Tung was so high energy there. He just beamed down the Mercy. They have swapped that out Ana instead of Lucio, so a little bit more heals now for the side of UConn. But BU has been so dominant in holding this point. Their engage has been so good. They've weathered all the storms of the Pharah.
Weathering them storms,
again. And they're just going to keep fighting here at the choke point.
Oh, he's going to go for the Graviton Surge now as well. Body Grenade was there to follow up, and Jack Tung with the right clicks doing work. Evanflow, though, takes the disguise, finds 2 with the barrage. Both Arctic and EZV go down, so it's an even
They don't touch the point.
set up, but they don't get there.
Z9. That is a letter number alert. That is our first letter number.
That is a Charlie Niner.
Where someone from the live audience keep track of how many letter numbers we have. I want to see it.
One C9 so far.
One Z9.
I get a 1 out there? Yeah, 1.
1.
All right, well,
But
I don't know
still,
how many more we'll get.
Dominant performance from Boston on that point.
So let's talk about the mindset that University of Connecticut have with this team comp. What are they trying to achieve? And how are they failing to do so in a lot of these fights?
When they were playing that Pharah Mercy in the beginning with the Lucio, they just need to be playing a lot slower. They can't be looking to fight
so like
because
pick
more
based or
they need to. It's pick and it's based off setting up your barrage, and that's really what it comes down to: is getting picks and setting up your barrage. Those are your 2 win conditions, and you need to not be able to get engaged on by that wall of meat from Boston. They were able to, and they swapped comps, but they kept the Lucio again because they were close to ult. They didn't have the sustain again. They just don't have sustain in those fights. But they're going to roll out to this next fight. And I see a Junkrat on the side for B, for both sides, actually.
Yeah, so Boston going to play almost Ghost, but it's Jotes. Jotes. It's a thing. So both teams obviously favoring that extra burst damage, quite loaded pressure that the Junkrat can provide. Even
Evanflow,
2
Mitch.
picks. He's found both supports there. Love to see it.
Evanflow doing so much work on this first mid. The double DPS setup actually just shredding the shield. The Mora heal's just not able to keep up with all that burst damage. And now we're in a situation where UConn controls the point first, and
do you have to
still running
switch
that Junkrat
like
Hanzo.
Ana into this comp? I mean, Aeon has. I mean, they have now the coalescence, so maybe not. But do you want to pick Ana now to try and counteract this burst damage?
I don't think so. I
think
think in this setup you want to be aggressive. You need the Mora. That's where you thrive. Is Ana's able to sustain longer, get those nades out, get those sleeps, get Nano out eventually. But you have coalescence. You have so much more burst healing than an Ana, and you should just be looking to take it into him, especially when they're in 2 long-range DPS. And here is the engagement. Shatter comes out, but he gets slept. Great sleep coming out from the side of UConn.
Yeah, it may well be as well that Graviton Surge didn't quite go where it was meant to there. No DV eat it up here, but Mr. Muffs gets to the point. Knocked down as he was. Whiting finds 2 at the end there. Nice little remote mine to get things done there. And EZV must have been a knockoff kill or something similar. He found 2, but unfortunately,
he's just sitting here on the side waiting to get the Mitch. He's like, come chase me. Chase me, I dare you. And there's the rally. He's going to maybe get Rhino. No, he's going to get out. He's very hurt, actually. That was great for EZV, just with the baits.
All right, so I like that. It's ballsy, but now obviously he needs to connect up with the rest of that Boston University team. Straight to a Graviton there. Actually, that's probably where they want him, to be honest. Getting some of those Inspire procs, a little bit of extra healing. He wasn't going to die to the follow-up damage, but now Jack Tung, he's able just to float around the top of this fight. And the direct hit. Oh, he just gets one in the breadbasket of Whitey, and that is going to finally take control of the point back to Boston University.
EZV opened it up there in that fight by getting those 2 late picks, splitting them by making them run around and trying to chase them. He's like, yeah, chase me. I'm Shield Maiden. I can do whatever I want.
Mr. Muff was trying to fight him elsewhere while the rest of Boston Uni were on the point. That forced an early grab, like a grab with like no follow-up from the rest of UConn. It didn't really work out.
But both DPS also. Oh my goodness! Great charge from Tico. Just
charged through a Dragon Strike.
Yeah, he did. But I mean, when it's that close range, don't do damage. EZV picking up Wani on the flank. The fight's just going to break down here on the point, and it could be anyone's game here. Still, both bubbles out.
Varun bubbled out towards his teammate here. Needs to wait a little bit for those to be off cooldown, but in the meantime, he's got plenty of damage to boot. Sassy charging to the wall. Earthshatter finds just the one for the time being. Was Jack Tung knocked down, and it looks like he's not going to be able to follow up on that one. Mr. Muff doesn't quite get there. UConn trying to regain control here in the meantime. Boston are ticking up in percentage. It's a Riptire over the top. Jack Tung finds Whiting Tico also to fall though. Boston losing their Reinhardt to the Riptire. That probably hurts just a little more.
Pretty good stagger fight on the side of BU there. I mean, EZV has just been a menace. Like on the flanks, roaming around. They haven't been able to get him. But they would put a lot of ults into that fight, and it wasn't necessarily winnable when they were down those picks. So I would like to see them save those. But they do have that Zenyatta coming up. He's going to have Trance soon, literally the best ultimate in the game. And there's so much more damage now on the field. And here comes the grab for UConn.
Yeah, I mean, they might need the Transcendence, but Aeon hasn't built it up quite yet. Graviton Surge, minimal follow-up there. Varun, yes, he's charged up and has plenty of energy, but it doesn't really seem to have helped there. It's a Graviton really going by the wayside now, as Jack Tung was able to fight too early on in the fight. EZV, of course, the source of many a Reinhardt woes on that Brigitte, making it very, very hard even for Mr. Muffs to touch the ground.
The Pharaoh for Wani being really annoying, getting that late pick onto Jack Tung, and also the very late transfer from Aeon in that fight. It was a one fight too. So maybe regrettable, maybe something they wish they could have later. But still, well played. That Reinhardt focus from UConn on to BU just means they can focus and get the kills after.
Sound barrier here for Rhino. Going to be a nano boost as well, being committed here to Mr. Muff. Reinhardt getting picked up, but Fuffles goes down to the back line. Shatter out from Tico, did find even Flow, but he goes down as a response. Still, fight favoring Boston University early on, and Aeon, they've got a fantastic spot here just to peek in and get damage. Oh, I'm pretty sure that was an attempted Shatter.
It was an attempted Shatter, and it is gone now.
EasyV knows it. He stopped the Shatter.
Investing a lot of ults once again in a lost fight. That was, I mean, they used Beat, they used Shatter, and Boston's just looking really commanding here. This ult bank still relatively equal on both sides, so there has to be a pick coming out from Wani, from Evan Flow. There needs to be a pick coming out.
Scant seconds remain in the round here, 99% and into overtime for Boston University, and Evan Flow trying to lead the charge, but EasyV already found his way into the back line to deal with the Rhino. He'll get done for poaching at this rate, but he's fallen to Wani. He's going to push straight on back here. Sassy
just beaming people down, Mitch. He's got that high energy Zarya. The fight was breaking down. No one was dealing with him. And when Zarya is left alone, roaming around, she does so much. She does so much damage. It's pixel perfect accuracy. And they're evaporated, simply evaporated by those picks.
Hailing from Wuhan, China, is Sassy. A very international roster, actually. Both these teams have super international rosters, but about 4.3k peak. Picture on the screen there is Tico. And yeah, this team generally quite impressive. This Jack Tung there is playing a lot with Zarya for most of the time.
A little bit of the junk.
I checked in with him on his game tag because he's quite long. His name is fairly long. He's from Hong Kong. And he loves Genji and Shadow 2K. How about that? Kings Row being our second map in the series, and again, this is where it all has to happen for University of Connecticut, or it's all over.
And I want to see a map 3, Mitch. I want to see a map 3.
I want to see a map 3 at least once today.
I would love to see map 3. I'm a big fan. And we're here on Kings Row with our beautiful sponsor, DX Racer, there at the bottom. Which, remember, we are giving away that chair here at the live venue. Some lucky audience member, which can't be me, unfortunately.
No, because we're not, I guess, audience members. Really.
No, we're not. We're members, but not audience members. Well, we haven't. Yeah, we're not audience members.
You calling me a member?
Yeah. Well, that's a little bit more of an Aussie insult.
Is it?
Yeah, our use of English is much more blunt and brutal here in America.
Wow.
We don't have the flowery, beautiful English embroidery that you have.
Yeah, there are many words in Australian that probably wouldn't receive that descriptor, but I'll take it anyway. So, all right, so here we go. A team like UConn doesn't like to play goats. They do like to play a lot of this Pharah. Maybe we'll see some Widow here. Boston just seem to be very well drilled. They seem to know the comp they want to play. They seem to be able to play it very well. Even though we got a little bit of twist on it, right, previously in that on control center when we saw the Junkrat. Probably don't expect them to do anything too crazy here.
No, the end of GOATs is so unified too. A big thing about GOATs when you're seeing those mirror matchups is who's more unified, who's making the better initiatives. And we saw much better initiations, a lot better usage of ults in general out of Boston. And EasyV in particular, his brig was fantastic. He just was roaming around. People were looking a little afraid of him. I would have been afraid because how he was baiting people into those 1v1s. We're coming out, and I actually see a comp we haven't seen a bit, the Widow Pharah with the tanks here for UConn. They're going to play a slow game. They're going to take it to point and try to get picks.
So Varun needs to be able to set up behind the shield of Mr. Muffs. The thing is, the tanks just need to not feed. This is what we were talking about before, right? You mentioned this. Like, someone like Mr. Muffs has to stay alive, but he found Tico here, so this is going to relieve the pressure immensely on the Reinhardt player from UConn and give a lot of space to Varun and Duani to find these kills.
And no shield, no big shield at all. The big rectangle man being down with no big rectangle in sight means you can just sit there and get picks with your Widow, get picks with your Pharah, try to get those staggers. And you're right, Mitch. Their tanks just didn't have to feed because they don't want to be pressured. And there isn't a lot of resources even needing to go to this backline. Actually, maybe Wani a bit. Oh, great late pick onto Sassy, but Ebb and Flow going down to Jack Tung at the end. But like we said, it's all about the spawn advantage here right now. Those picks favoring a lot more this side of UConn. Sorry, my mind is just running off.
I kind of like that you point out how self-sufficient backliners can be in these comps though, right? Like Varun, he might get a damage boost and occasional he'll get a top up, but he can sort of sit back to quite a great degree. Wani as well, he's not playing against a team that has hit scan. Okay, now if they have an Ana, he'll probably need to be, pocketed to some degree by Rhino. But still, these guys can work fairly independently of the front line. And it is all about Evan Flow and Mr. Muff just keeping it. Evan Flow plays everything, by the way.
He does. He does seem to play everything. And this early damage out from Wani, keeping them low, getting that barrage, while EasyV gets caught out on a flank. Gets caught on a flank to Evan Flow is great, because here comes the barrage, set up, should get a clean up, he gets slept, but the fight's over, Mitch. The fight is over. They're getting these ticks everywhere on the flanks. There is no single fight happening, and this is where UConn's thriving. It's chaos. It's madness. It's jungle warfare. And this is what they want when they're running 2 DPS picks like this.
Boston University looking really messy right now, looking very uncertain, in fact. They came into this match so confident, and now we are seeing perhaps some adjustments here to answer the specific setup from UConn. So see EasyV switch over towards the McCree, but already they're inside the Foundry here. Varun going to back up a little bit, was hoping to get an early pick on that fight that started off. There's a Graviton here, there's an Earthshatter here.
A lot of ults on the field for both sides. Mitch, the engage happening, there's the grab, there's the nano on Zarya. Sleep coming out, and this would actually be cleaned up. There is, oh, there it is. There's the bomb, big bomb from Sassy. The engage was great, and that's what they needed all this time. They needed to be engaging his goats. They just need to actually be ignoring those DPS picks
just hit the tanks.
and just running into them. They just need to be taking them out.
To their credit as well, Boston, Tico was also slept before he could get involved in that fight. He was nano boosted there. But he saves his Earthshatter. There is also a sound barrier. And now, if Boston can just play this corner, get those tanks involved, find the backline of UConn, pressure out someone like Fluffles, then they're probably going to be feeling a little bit better here. Here's the Graviton. I like that as a bit of a release valve, especially with all the pressure that, you can see was being put on Tico early on in that fight. It's going to be a double Earthshatter here, but it looks like Boston come off second best in that little engagement. See Jack Tung there sitting right in the background, found Varun and trying to take them on himself, but he ends up falling to his own hand as it was.
Much better shatter out from this from upstairs. When that shatter engage, he was able to get 3 people down, not a lot down on the side of Tico, and they were just able to clean up the fight while that, it's very messy, like we were talking about, but when those ults come out and you're able to get people sitting on the floor and you can clean them up without any resistance, Mr. Muff shatter there was able to clean it up.
I'm here for it. Messy Overwatch, that's fine. Oh, okay.
Wani going for the flank here.
Angel Wani on the other side. Immediate deletion of Arctic there with the barrage now shielded up. Zarya is going to be able to stay alive long enough. Jackson is able to find the response, but EasyV goes down and now it's time for Deadeye. Varun comes forward, trying to find the happy little red skulls, but gets Graviton instead. Wani brought back to life here. And oh my lord, University of Connecticut, they love a chaotic game. Look at them. This is their element right now, and they're continuing to apply pressure to the Boston University, who just keep getting forced backwards
no fear.
every time.
No fear, Mitch. He just kept walking forward, and that was an actually fantastic play from UConn. Even though they weren't able to get as much value as they wanted out of Wani, he got the Ana. There's no res on the field for them. He split the team, made them turn around, and then Varun was able to come up. That's what you want to do. When you make space on one side, you walk up and you say, yes, I'm going to take advantage of this space. It is my space now. And Varun also living in that grab is pretty incredible at that, and that's great from the support line of
Honestly,
UConn.
like a big part of me expected Boston to be able to start to slow the pace of the game down a little bit after they had a semblance of control regained in that last stage of the map. Were they not doing what you wanted to see them do? You said, like, if they're playing goats against this, they need to just tie up the main tanks of UConn, deal with them first, and then follow through. Was that not a thing?
I didn't want to see them slow it down. I wanted to see them speed it up, because you can't let them set up. You can't let them get the poke damage on you. You're taking the fight into them. That's where you're winning. That's where you're thriving. Because when you're sitting there, it's like a back alley fight. I mean, everything. This map is just one giant alley.
Yep.
So I mean, it's literally a back alley fight.
Might as well be a tunnel.
You just need to be taking those fights into them very aggressively. You need to make sure you need to be splitting. If any, actually, they could have realistically even dive and gone for maybe even focused more on the back line if they wanted to. They could have split those resources.
A lot of teams, when they do see like a Widowmaker or Pharah, their first reaction is to take a big step backwards.
Yeah.
That often is the wrong choice.
And there was no Brig out on the field for UConn, so it wasn't like there was anyone, and no Zen either, so there's no discord.
There's no prickliness, there's no cactus there. You can sort of walk up.
You can actually set up those engagements.
So perhaps it was just the reluctance to get involved in the fight. So
I've said this before and I'll say it again. The H key, the hero select screen, is just as good as the Q key in Overwatch. It's very strong if you're able to utilize it properly.
I like it. No doubt about it.
Looks like they're just going to be rolling out another round here of King's Row. Looks to be, is that a Genji? A Genji triple tank setup here for BU versus a pretty standard goat setup here on the side of UConn.
Look at UConn just wrap around the corner. They actually backed off a lot. Then sped forward. Tico now getting snapped immediately there. Going to get punished, surely. Charged down by Mr. Muffs, which was aggressive in and of itself, but very quickly Boston repelled, sent back home with the tail between their legs.
And you said they wrap through Hotel there. They wrap through Hotel. And that's a brilliant engagement, actually.
It's very fast.
In these tank-heavy matchups.
I like it. They make quick use of
the difference.
Lucio,
Initiatives make the difference. And them being able to wrap up, take the fight first, catch them off guard, that's huge.
Oh yeah, well we didn't point out that UConn were actually playing goats here. They're actually trying to
actually playing goats.
Yeah, and it worked pretty well. They made good use of that speed boost. Jack Tilner is just trying to find a way in at the moment. He does see a biting grenade of Mr. Mas, but it's not really the target he wants right now. Tico, though, might perhaps want to go for that one. Sassy be suited, removed. Mr. Mas is down, though, so it's a 5v5, but Jack Tilner wasn't too far behind. The Genji not generating a lot of value early on here. Easy V trying to do just that, but no dice. UConn saved them off once more.
Very important plays there. Two very important plays, in fact. They were able to keep Mr. Muffs there alive with that Matrix ebb and flow. He was down, he was antied, he was low, so he was having to come up while being
slept.
Like
Shadow slept.
Yeah, he was slept, and that Matrix ebb and flow kept him alive the entire time. Plus, the ult banks here for UConn looking a lot stronger on the side of Boston.
Here's the Graviton Surge now as well. Tico melts it down, Maroon! And Mr. Muffs, a combined effort there, just deleting the main tank from Boston. This is a vastly different showing.
Stagger, here it is. Beautiful. This brings me back. This brings me back, Uber. This is a beautiful stagger. I love it. Look at this, they're booping her, and then the late kill. I would have liked to see a sleep for maximum BM there. I want to see more BM. I want to see the Diva just absolutely hate her life.
I think they're in Boston's head already. What is this Genji trying to achieve, really? Get Fluffles in the backline?
Well, now there's no defensive ults out on the side for UConn. There's no beat. There's a Shadow, though, so if they set this up properly, it can be very strong.
Dragonblade in, Fluffles down, that's what he was looking for. And Earth Shadow, though, immediately to respond, but it may well be the damage is already done. And yeah, that would seem to be the case. Jackson there with a finish off. Finally, Boston will get this point, but honestly, the UConn told us they suck at goats, but that was pretty solid. Good coordination.
I mean, granted, they weren't playing goats v goats, they're playing goats versus the double G goats with Genji, so go goats.
Yeah, go goats.
Go Nak. And so I just think that, but that was a perfect use of Nano Blade then, because they were able to run past the Brig, which is pretty much the only thing that can stop you other than the Shatter, and they got the backline, then they just all came forward.
If you want to deal with the Brig has to die before she can stun you, which is not easy to do. She has to already be like
or you can just run past her. I mean, Brig isn't very mobile, and that's what they did. They just ran past the Brig, and they got the backline, which is really very well played for you.
UConn are reluctant to give up this choke here. They want to maintain positioning up close. You can see why. They can get so much done with it, so much damage to filter in here. Charge connected from Tico. He's yelling out to his team, follow up for me, but no. Rhino was there to finish off. Easy V pushing through with a lot of energy though in here, and UConn are very split now. Fluffles was way out of right field there with the rest of his team all the way backed up.
And Jack Tung and Easy V sort of fusion behind there to clean up that fight, despite what was a kind of shaky setup there. They should have had that grab deep bomb combo a little bit more set up. They should have been able to clean up. That's the combo they want to use. Now they had to invest a lot of ults to win that fight, and UConn coming back with a pretty big ult bank of their own. Ult economy is very, very important in these tank-heavy setups, but still very well played. Easy V microwaving down. Jack Tung investing the blade just to clean it up. But this is where it gets dicey. It gets dicey because their ults not looking good.
I also like that the Tico charged Mr. Muffs to make sure that Easy V could get Zarya damage past the Ryan shield, but I digress. Next fight just around the corner, another Earth shield down. Now Tico may as well hit Q on charge, and it was the latter option that he went for. About as gruesome as you'd expect. And a final opportunity now for University of Connecticut to re-establish some control. Boston just out of options there a little bit.
And the stagger again. Here it is. Oh, 1 HP. Oh, they missed the sleep. She dodged it. That was actually pretty big for Sassy. I don't know if that was intentional.
It saved him about 6 seconds.
It did save some time. That was actually pretty good. But UConn, we talked about it, the ult advantage there. They came back, and this is a bad place to lose a fight because you have to walk all the way back from spawn.
To play around the corner.
You have to win another fight now. You have to play the corners. And UConn only had to invest. They use Diva Bomb Nano, which are fine ults to use, along with Rally, but you still get Rally value, even if you're not directly using the frag. You're still getting armor. And so now they're just going to looking for another engage.
Grab here. Transcendent straight away. Tico tries to go for the Earth Shatter. He actually seems to have landed it. But now he's going to come forward. He is nanoed out, but he's able to find a kill. He gets even float, should I say, out of the mech, and a fire strike follow-up.
Look at this mouse shake from Tico.
Why are you doing this?
He needs to frag. He's so excited, and he doesn't clean up a late grab from Easy V, and this will win the fight.
Yeah, just when they needed it. Even self-destruct committed to
just
the fight.
To make sure. You got to be careful. You got to be careful.
Oh my gosh. Well, job's done. Definitely a little bit excessive towards the end there, but UConn were definitely at risk of holding BU back once again. Yeah, EasyB does not want to deal with any sort of stagger attempt. UConn are going to acquiesce, they'll back up and allow them to take that second checkpoint.
And another blade coming up out on the side of Boston. They can look to fight. They can look to take, or not Boston. No, it is Boston. Am I losing my mind? It is. They're going to be looking to take very aggressive fights here with Boston. Great anti, though, from the side. They just commit now. There's no healing out on the field, and that's going to be it.
Yeah, I mean, Jack, hey, look, he still gets one kill there going with the Nano Blade. It wasn't actually with a blade slash, as it were.
Gets a late
shuriken
shuriken kill, too.
Yeah, that is big. It also means now that there's nothing for Boston to actually, or for UConn to actually set up behind with that Reinhardt falling. Very unlikely they're going to be able to defend in any rules, shape, or form now outside of the self-destruct, which they'll throw down and try and zone away. Jack Tom's forced to dash out. See in the background, just sort of set up there is Arctic, trying to keep that healing going to Boston as they push through, and yeah, looks like they're going to be successful. Barun has that graviton, but it's too little too late.
Arctic's nades. Arctic's nades. These are like some real Hollywood-esque grenades.
Hollywood
where they
grenades?
explode with the force of like 300 megatons. Because he's just hitting fat nades, like which shouldn't be happening necessarily, because those should be being eaten. And if you're not getting anti-healed in the setups, you're having to use bubbles to purge the anti. You're having to use bubbles to keep people alive, and you can't get healed. And those nades, those are difference makers. Those are huge difference makers there. He's opening up fights, in fact, because you can use it to just clean up grabs.
Yeah.
To clean up fights.
I mean, Arctic 4.2k player. He's local to Massachusetts. Actually, studying comp science and business here, so he wants revenge against Northeastern, by the way, for what they did to him. He specifically said, "I want
they
to
want
face
to meet
him
Northeastern in the finals."
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So he was he played he had 3,000 hours of Counter-Strike logged at age 14. He was LEM, so Legendary Eagle Master. It's pretty solid rank in that particular game, especially for that young age. So FPS in their blood.
The glories of being 14 years old. You can spend a lot of time on Counter-Strike, spend a lot of time in other games. Rolling out here to this second defense for both sides, because we're having a full cap on both sides' teams. A little bit better time bank for UConn. But I do think Boston, they're going to be taking this fight very aggressively. They're going to be continuing to try to play their game. I don't think they're going to be trying to run a Genji this time, though. I think they're going to be use a pretty much more standard Ghost composition, because it does take some time to set up that combo, and time is not on their side.
Yeah, the value was there, of course, but now they need to be a little bit more expedient about their approach. Into the backline goes the Doomfist. Evan Flow showing us yet another one of his many heroes in the pool. But Barun is the first casualty here now as well, and yeah, just a little push through here from Boston. Very solid. EasyV, well, he mentioned to me that he prefers to play a lot of those flashier DPSs here, but his Brig is very solid, and that was no nonsense.
Great push from BU. And I want to see this more from them on this map in particular, because the Genji, though we talked about how it was getting value, a lot of time to set up. It is risky as well, because you can be countered quite easily in this current meta. Well played, just very well played overall. And now they built up these ult banks. A successful first fight. Barun is going to be swapping to McCree, but I actually don't like this swap at all when they're running this McCree Doomfist.
What is this supposed to, you're against shields? You're against...
He's going to be looking to shred shields a lot more, which does bring value, but they can just run on top of you with this Moro comp if they look to be very aggressive.
They have the mobility. McCree can very quickly be cornered or left without an escape route if the enemy speeds in. Here's the Coalescence. Great Earth Shadow to interrupt it though. A lot of value there. Mr. Masters lays it down. Now it's going to be the Meteor Strike coming in from Evan Flow just to reposition. You really do think that UConn could have chased out that fight a little bit more and tried to get a full team wipe there, maybe recoup some ult percent, but
there were two people behind them though. That's the thing, that Earth Shatter, the Doomfist ult, it split the side of Fusion. And so they actually had Jack Tung and they had Tico isolated behind them, so they had to make sure to clean up those two frags before they could chase. But the position is still great, and I do like Boston University coming up top, dropping onto them.
Oh, he's done!
It's
still
okay, he still saves the Shatter.
Tries to lay it down. Tico doesn't fight too much, but he manages to connect with Evan Flow on the charge, and whew, it seems to be enough here. The calls are coming out thick and fast, but Boston have finally found the opening, and they get through that rather precarious first part of this second stage, that small choke, but they've still got more to play through.
And getting staggers late, Mitch. Staggers late here, that's perfect in this OT push.
In OT?
OT, you need
keeps
staggers.
you in a player advantage at all times.
And Evan Flow decided to swap to Pharah. That means we're not going to see any other tanks, not going to see any Brig on the side of UConn. They're going to be looking to get this Pharah late. Shred shield here. Shred shield. This is the name of the game. You use your McCree, you use your Pharah, you shred the shield, you set up a high noon. Set up a perfect high noon grab.
Click the rectangle, Barun. Here we goes though. Oh, okay, gonna be Soundbearer committed to this fight. Graviton Surge. Oh, Sassy!
Oh,
He's found himself 3! Mr. Master's gone down, and that's just what Boston needed. That could have gone either way. Sassy actually getting a 4th kill in that fight. Barun kind of drops down.
Barun getting the late D-Mech though. Late D-Mech. That's pretty big.
What
no
does
Diva
like,
now.
he
jumps off. Risky, but okay because there's no one up on the side of UConn.
The problem is
very
that like
risky.
Boston need to keep pushing the payload, so they can't like stop the payload and wait for Sassy to catch
No, they
up. If they
cannot.
leave the payload, that's overtime's over. So Sassy just has to get back. Fortunately, he's mobile on that Diva. He can return to the fight pretty quickly. Here's the Graviton surge now coming out from UConn. Everflow had an opportunity to go for the barrage, but he saves it for later. It looks like Revenge is the dish best served cold in this case. He found himself that one towards Tico, and another finish there. UConn finally spring back into action. And now they know exactly what they need to do to win this map.
That combo from BU was so well done. Very well done. Because you see at the end, Tigo actually dies when doing that combo. He fell off the map. He chose, it was more important to charge the grab to get them split, to get the shield out of the way, to get that Diva Bomb ult, than it was to survive in that situation. And Tigo did. He was just like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll go off the map. That's fine. And he did. And then they got a 3K, they got a 4K actually from Sassy, and they were able to fight. That was a good push, a good OT push for BU.
Odd that a health science major has no regard for his own personal safety in game, but that's fair enough.
I mean, typical college student, you know? Typical college student.
I mean, this guy was a 4.4K player, so he's definitely a shot caller. We've seen him on screen. Apparently, his most memorable moment is playing against Dronark and ranked and winning. So
that is a memorable moment.
I feel that. He's been on this team for a year as well, whole year. One of the original, like he was the one in the interview, right? So he bleeds Boston. I feel that.
It's a city with a lot of pride.
Obviously, yes, BU is also the initials for the Boston Uprising. That is correct, Tico. I'm glad you pointed that out. So, as it stands now for UConn, they need to get, towards those 5 checkpoints. They just need to equal Boston's run within the allotted time. 3 minutes 51 is a very large time bank, right? It's a lot to work with for UConn. It's looking decent for them right now.
UConn has all the advantages here, and they're choosing to run out once again here with this Pharah, with this hit scan, but Evanflow on the Zarya instead of the Pharah, which is the opposite of what we saw last night. And we talked about it, sometimes collegiate teams like to have some role swaps, some very fluid.
Could just be if there's like land jitters. It's like Wani is the more experienced player between him and Evanflow, so it's fair enough. Mr. Muffs goes down, and the fire strike from Tico is a warning sign. Not to mess, but Varun wants to hang around. Oh, he's definitely dead.
Oh, the bubble, so good, keeping him alive. He could have died right there.
Still,
they could have pushed that fight.
manages to find the McCree here, so with no resurrect options available for Boston, UConn can return to the fight with a player advantage.
UConn looking really, really strong because look at this barrage, 50%. They're going to have Valk soon. This is their time to set up the barrage, save bubbles. They need to make sure to keep this bubble, keep it ready. But they do use it for energy.
He's using it just for energy, but he was so high. It's interesting that he goes for that one anyway. Regardless, somehow the Sleep Dart connects. You didn't really see that one, but that was out from Fluffers, if I'm not mistaken. Tico and Sassy, now Boston spring back on this defense into the fight, and Rhino all of a sudden realizes he's not got much left.
And Tico decides to drop the Shatter because he was just feeling really confident. He was like, yeah, I just charged somebody, what of it?
Is that your way of saying there was no need to use that Shatter there?
That was my way of saying probably not the Shatter there. That is not it, Chief.
Okay.
That's not it. But
of all the things that are not it, that's it.
That is the it of not being. And so, but here we go. There's going to be the combo. We're going to have Grab. We're going to have Barrage. We're going to have Nano too. Nano Barrage, very, very, very strong.
Just the durability is incredible for the Pharah who's suspended in midair.
And they've chosen not to use any of them in the way I would have done.
Oh, Deadeye here. That was from Jack Tung. He actually got charged. He couldn't get it off before he got charged. Now the Graviton Surge is going to get used, but EasyV drops one on the backside. This makes it much harder for UConn to assemble this attacking force, and just as they look like they were actually getting started, they get shut down.
Late picked over Wani. He's still trying to be aggressive. He will die late though, but he got the late pick. And if I'm UConn, I actually try to follow up here. I try to get position early. They don't have a flex healer. There is nothing on the field to sustain them on the point. They have a little bit of opening, but I think they're a little slow because there's also no Lucio, while Boston does have that Lucio on the field for them. So it is tough. And they decide to swap to the Tracer. No more McCree, a little bit more mobile, pressure the backline a little more. There isn't a Brig on the side of BU. So, and
there is a Nano though.
But they messed it up. No, they could have gone to the combo.
Wait, the Tracer. Okay, Varun does get bionated here as well, so that means he can't really participate, or at least not very close. Big shatter from Mr. Muffs, but he's knocked off course as he tries to follow up there. Now here's a responsive shatter from Tico. Perhaps not as grandiose, but definitely getting the job done. Sometimes it doesn't have to be pretty, just be effective. And now there's only 1 minute 11 seconds left. University of Connecticut, they had a big lead coming into this into this half, and Tico's getting fired up, and they've got 1 more minute to go. They're looking to take the series here and now.
That was a really serious and unfortunate event in that last engage too, with the grab getting blocked by the bubble. Sharing a quick laughter there with Tico turning around. And another sleep. Arctic has been hitting nuts sleep.
Ice cold, baby. Tico there finding Mr. Muffs early on. Not good for UConn again. They need 6 players to start this off. One in looking for something wishful if ever. Baru needs to get a pick. He's found it there. Arctic, that's a massive pick off now. There's no mercy to bring it back on the side of Boston. And Wani might be in a position now to actually do something with this barrage. Gets back around the corner. Doesn't get away though. I think he misjudges exactly where the self-destruct was. And he wastes his ult. EasyV gets a free kill. 20 seconds now left in the round here. Jack Tum does go down and UConn are starting to build up ahead of steam, i.e. Ebenflow with 80 charge. He's ready to go, Connor.
They have grab. They can clean up this fight as long as they don't get shattered. Tico's so close to the shatter. Baroon pressuring the backline. The counter grab is out. There's both sides swapping. Wani in on the Genji. The shatter comes out. Tico, very big shatter.
Tico trying to follow it up now, but there's a lot of healing available. The Valkyrie Mercy there for Rhino is doing a lot of work, and there's the Pulse Bomb. Drops on the Sassy. Baroon looking for more, but Wani's there on the Genji now. All the DPS players and all the DPS heroes, unlike Humpty Dumpty, these ones were able to get it done. And they will get that 4th checkpoint. I mean, they've still got a lot of mountain to climb here at Vast, but it's a start.
A miracle. Angels in the outfield moment there for UConn as the fight broke down. They were able to get the picks despite everything seemingly that there was heals on the point. That's the stand of the point even after that shatter from Tico. Gigantic, because if they had lost anyone there, that fight could have gone either way to that grab. And now they're still ahead in ult charge. After this, they're going to have a nano blade suit. That's a win combo.
I mean, Boston University are playing without a DV here, so Ebenflow can just sort of grab from downrange, providing he doesn't get deflected by a Genji, but he can just grab whenever he wants. He doesn't have to think so much about it. That allowed him to get a very efficient grab setup at the start of their previous fight. He doesn't have to worry about it nearly as much.
They did swap though, no more Genji. Bash is coming out, Bubbles out. Now Anti, again, Mr. Bubbles getting these gigantic nades, both sides hitting nades that are so big. And now they can shatter for free if they do decide to.
I'm surprised Mr. Muff didn't go more aggressive there on towards on Tico on that Reinhardt, but he trusted Wani from above to get the finish off himself. That's his 2nd kill now, and again, this is what happens. The University of Connecticut machine, once it gets rolling, once the cogs get turning, it's very hard to slow them down. Trying to throw a spanner in the works and they get sheared right in half. It is in overtime now. So if UConn are moved off the payload for any reason at all before they reach their goal, it will be Boston University's map and series.
If I'm UConn, I'm happy. I'm very happy. I don't think BU should even be taking this fight unless they want to get the ults out really, really early. But you also are just going to be continuing to give ults to UConn here. You're getting rid of some, but unless there's a misplay, this should be it.
Oh,
no! Mr. Bumps has had enough. Mr. Bumps has had enough.
That sounds like a kid's school book gone really wrong. A children's story with a very gruesome and a macabre finish.
He was getting bullied all game, but he's had enough. It's time to win.
He was definitely not having it anymore, and now UConn so very close towards their objective, just a couple more meters, and they'll be taking it to a map 3. You love to see it. And they'll be very happy with that one. An underdog team knew that they were an unknown factor, but now they're going to take this series all the way to the bank.
Map 3, Mitch. I'd love to see it.
Oh,
I talked about we want to see a map 3.
I asked for one more. I said
we did.
Look, because collegiate events I've done in the past as well. Sometimes it's just been like one-sided or anything like that. This is the spice I've been looking for. This is the heat that I had to come all the way to Boston to find, ironically enough. And okay.
The H key also very strong in that map because Wani, they were close to that nano blade like I was talking about earlier, but they decided to swap actually when they went pre Farah.
Oh, they want to pause.
It looks like I think Boston University is going to take a little bit of a breather here as well. Toilet break, perhaps it's Tico. Yes, perhaps his bladder is.
Well, it's a sub. It looks like we're getting a substitution in here.
Yeah,
on the side of
it might be the case here. So, which obviously will be an added layer of complexity here. But you can see he probably's run out of voice as well. He's yelling a little bit more than I was. Product placement.
Look at him, product placement right there.
Sponsored by Craft Group, of course. No, that's a lie.
Which water brand is that?
Don't know. You can't say it.
Tico, which water brand is that?
It's Aquafina.
Aquafina.
Right, yeah.
Money to BU, Aquafina.
The drink of champions.
Drink of champions.
Someone needs to tell this guy how endorsements work. Okay. All right. So Boston will take a moment here as well. There's probably a little bit to be discussed because you saw that they had extreme difficulty once the game started to get away from them now. to try and slow down this momentum. But compositions that feature Farah, especially on Kings Row, yeah, they do a heck of a lot when you do give them space or when you are constantly on the back foot. We talked about it earlier on when, University of Connecticut opened up with a Farah and a Widowmaker. And the first reaction from Boston appeared to be to take steps back and to put themselves in a more vulnerable position, make them easier picks against a lot of those snipers. So I guess it's all about the mindset and how what your knee-jerk reaction is when you see these like kind of fragile glass cannon heroes picked.
Especially when running meaty heroes.
Yeah.
Especially when running meaty heroes.
What are you afraid of?
There's so much health. You have so much health on the field. You have so much sustain. Why are you afraid of Widow? Widow can't do anything to you. You just go in. You take him out. You also roll over the front line, especially when there's a Mercy on the field and they're trying to play that Mercy Farah pocket. You want to split the resources. You want to split them. You don't want them to be forced to be. They don't want the Mercy to be able to damage boost their Farah permanently, because then they get all that value, all that damage. They're building up the barrage the entire time. They're getting that space.
All right. Well, you posted this on Twitter the other day, by the way. You really appreciate this bit of merch. The Bundle Up Winter line is the Uprising's limited edition holiday merchandise featuring long-sleeve winter-themed T-shirts, a football-style jersey, and get this. This is actually a theme, an ugly Christmas sweater, plus hats, gloves, and socks. This collection will only be available, though, until January 1st while supplies last. So stock up on your winter favorites before they're gone. Buy online at boston-uprising.mySpotify.shopify.com. You can see it on the screen. There's a lot to read there. Or in person, so you can get them at the Back to Boston fan events tomorrow and Tuesday. For more information about that one, check up at Boston Uprising on Twitter if you want to check out some of those events.
I do like those.
We got them little goodie bags. I got some of that stuff as well. I love that you market clothing now by calling it ugly. I just love that. It's like, buy our ugly Christmas sweater, and everyone's like, oh, that sounds like a great idea. Get me one of those. I love that.
It's quirky. It's new.
It's not.
You know,
it's old. It's new because it's
old. New. But I mean, you have to remember that we're very young.
Yeah,
we're very young here. We haven't seen the cycles.
No, that's right.
We haven't
so now,
seen all the fashion cycles.
If it hasn't appeared
in
in your lifetime, I guess it's cool.
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
That's how it works. Something that was uncool before that you would hate your parents doing.
You might be right, but
it's like high-waisted jeans. They're back.
That is true. I would never wear them though. I'm sorry. My muffin tops will just peek out too much. Hey, next map's going to be Dorado, ladies and gentlemen. Let's jump in. Map number 3, the Decider. At least for the team that goes home, they would have had plenty of playtime here on stage now. It's been a back and forth affair. But on escort-type maps, I'm feeling pretty bullish about University of Connecticut. They are looking, bullish. You're like a bull market.
You're about to run through a China shop here.
No, like bull market. Like I'm feeling good about them. You know what I mean? Like yeah. I reckon they are in good shape, and they've looked very good on this format thus far. We'll need to see a little bit more of that extra confidence. And also, Korean Gamer joins the mix as well. We had substitution for BU, and he actually is Korean and a gamer. Max, I think his peak SR was like 4.4k. He's an Ashen Widow player, apparently, so look out for him.
Very high SR. And someone that can be a game changer when you bring him into the field, where you can see what he can do, especially with the DPS-centric composition we've been seeing from out of UConn. Maybe they want to respond to their own.
I think
they want a duo. They want to mirror.
Firepower a little bit.
Yeah, it's time to go out guns blazing.
Trying to play with Nerf bullets previously. Now they need to get their Full Metal Jacket team, you know?
And also playing Ashe at that. Bringing out their DPS gamer here to play Ashe, the new DPS hero. And there's the early pickoff onto Rhino, and getting another one. Look at this. 3 for Korean gamer.
Okay.
Living up to the name. Where's Monty?
Yeah, he knew all about this. He would have said he's great before he'd seen him play, though.
That's true.
But that's very impressive. Straight in, and Korean Gamer is just like, okay, guys.
Yeah, it's time to frag. Yep. It's time to use the new
What's all this hum up about? I'm just clicking M1, baby.
Monty just feeling a disturbance through the ether as another Korean player comes out and frags real hard. A lot of energy out on the side for EZV.
He's like, Mitch, I had a dream. It was blue and yellow and black, and there was a Korean player, and you were there. What a weird dream. I'm like, yeah, I was here. Let's see now.
They're just going to be setting up. They're just going to be setting up here once again, waiting for that engage. Korean Gamer continuing to try to get those picks. Great dynamite on, keeping the pressure, keeping the health low. Early grab out, but Korean Gamer does go down to the Widow of Varun.
Varun managed to pick him up perhaps at that long-range game. Widowmaker is still just a little bit better. Varun with 3! Looking for another one, but Sassy quickly shuts him down. It doesn't matter, though.
The fight is over, and they can catch out the Zen very late on the side of Sassy. There it is. And that's also great fight from Varun, who popped off. He decided he's just ready. He's like, where's my Orville Redenbacher sponsorship? I'm popping. I'm popping off here.
Find 3 picks, and I'm pretty sure you've set your team on a very solid upward trajectory. But now it'll be Widow versus Widow, which Korean Gamer says, well, look, okay, fair enough. You can't have picked me as I was playing Ash. Now I'm more than happy to fight you in a sniper battle. I mean, UConn depend on this. They depend on their DPS's fragging. They depend on that momentum being generated. And then their front line can engage, but ideally not in a 6v6. They want to fight always at a player advantage, UConn, if they can.
This could be a very Overwatch League Season 3 vibe. Yeah, Valkyrie out, looking for the fight, just trying to ascend, get a pick early. There is the pick on Wani. Varun just really wanting to anti-aircraft that Valk, but it's very tough.
That's hard to hit. That hitbox is not only very small, but also it moves awfully quick. Evan Floyd here as well knows he doesn't want to be gravitoning in this particular situation, and losing Wani early was enough to unravel UConn there. It was kind of fairly telegraphed, I suppose. We had a very early Valk activation there from Rhino. It was a contingency setup. Sorry, from Aeon, should I say?
And good pick from Varun onto Sassy, the entry pick, but the res is going to come out. This is going to be that Overwatch, I think I said it earlier, the Overwatch League Season Stage 3 vibe. There's the blade out from Wani. Can he get more value? He's not able to, and he's going to go down here as well with that anti from Arctic, but they're winning the frontline battle while that's happening.
Evan Floyd here has a chance to follow with the Gravitons. This is very good for UConn. Not only are they staggering Boston, forcing them back, but they have some very high impact ultimate abilities to bring to bear in the coming moments, whereas Boston University, after all these switches, don't really have those. Sassy's used the Transcenders already. Tico's just now switched to the Winston to try and pressure people such as Varun. Not a great setup here for Boston. Korean Gamer finds a pick to try and even the odds here, but Wani will be looking to find that Widow very next.
Put
to sleep though!
And the right click from Sassy, that's going to be a cleanup, that's going to be a fight. Even while EZV was stuck behind, not able to help his team out in the grab, Korean Gamer and the back line of BU managing to outplay. And there goes Mr.
Yeah, he gets off
Mr. Muffs. He's gone. Mr. Muffs is done.
So, I mean, just as UConn were looking very good, they had all these fantastic ultimates. They employ or deploy that Graviton Surge into a fight and get very little for it. That was a fight where the shields were kind of down for Boston. Now, not perhaps much the case. They're going to be looking to
Korean Gamer just sitting in the spawn on the left side getting picks.
You have to respect this. You can't expect to just be able to walk past and he's not going to try and shoot you. You can't do this.
And they're making so much space for him too. There's the engage from Tico, continuing to go. There's a double hit scan out, by the way, for UConn.
Why switch off Genji to Ash when you know you're up against a Widow, I wonder?
You want to make a cool montage highlight video. You want to be like, yeah, I played Ash in a tournament. What of it? I got some kills. That's all the reason I can come to. Really,
that's good. I feel like I was on the right track with my assumption. So, yeah, interesting decision there from Wani. It doesn't give UConn any additional power to actually get to grips with Korean Gamer. Like all he has to do is double. Who is following this Winston in?
Yeah, where is the Diva? Korean Gamer getting the pick on Varun late too. He's just continuing to go here. They've committed. They need to be. Look at all this value. Look at all the resources they're putting into Korean Gamer. They give him Bubbles. They give him Mercy. They're giving him Diva Matrix. And during this time, there was actually, is that a back cap potentially on the field? UConn, it was. They were trying to get a back cap.
They had a crack. They actually managed to just get it around the corner. You can see where the payload has advanced from, but again, very hard to get it all the way against a team like this. Although I've seen it happen before. I've seen ridiculously long back caps, mostly in Diamond rank, don't ask. Varun now up to the high ground, trying to challenge Korean Gamer, but even with the help of Mr. Muffs, Korean Gamer just slips away.
Risky. Very risky dive there as they continue to make space, but they're so hurt. There's no support. There's no backline.
Solo right now.
There's no backline for UConn there, so that dive without an ult, risky. They are going to get the counter pick onto Tico, but this bomb is going to pick up Wani.
Tracer has a lot of mobility, apparently not enough to avoid that in that case. Clutch goes down, Tico getting killed up now with Boston. I think they figured this one out. I think they've cracked the code here a little bit.
UConn looking a little staggered.
Well, I mean, look.
They're looking quite staggered here.
I'd be interested to see what Evan Flow is doing here as well, or how he's following up Mr. Muffs, or not.
I don't think there's enough. I don't think there's enough follow-up as of right now.
Okay, you have a Tracer. Tracer's fine, but as an attacking team on this stage, it takes a little bit of time to maneuver Tracer into position, right? So the longer it takes you to set up, the more likely it is one of your players can get picked
I don't think they should be setting up. I think the Tracer before that point should have been just pressuring the point anyways. But there's the Nano out from BU. They're going deep with Tico. Tico trying to make the space. Early beat. Beat just to keep people alive. It won't get any value in this fight at all, Uber. 3K!
No!
And Ebb and Flow.
He's broken it wide open just as Boston were looking like 4 knocks up, and there's Ebb and Flow drops in. He steals the crown jewels, and now they're on the way again. One, he does fall to Sass, but he was just trying to keep the Zen busy. And UConn, I saw a Transcendence pop. What's a Transcendence going to do to stop you from a self-destruct, mate? Nothing. Easy V taken down.
They do have to burn Tico on this point, though. The recontest is possible, even if the heals are not all there. Tico getting so much space, so much value. He's still contesting, but they're going to get it.
They're going to get it. Oh.
Off of that giant bomb from Ebb and Flow, really living up to his name, because that is changing the flow of the game.
With the wax and wane.
The wax and wane.
I'm very impressed by him being able to set that one up there. I'll never forget watching Sassy just smash Q as he sees that grab coming and the self-destruct coming over the top. He's like, I ain't dying to this, fam.
They decide to swap off the Widow on the side for BU as well. Get that Ashe again. Maybe it's just that there's not a lot of space to work with on this last. Widow doesn't quite have as much value with that lack of space. Dynamite, Bob, very strong here. Anti comes out, bomb, good juggle, but no value coming out just yet. And there's the counter diva, and great bomb from EasyV.
Self-destruct's doing a lot of work thus far, and EasyV relieving a lot of the pressure the Boston was starting to feel in much the same way. Actually, the Ebb and Flow started to build it previously. Getting a lot of value on that diva so far.
EasyV cleaning up.
Yeah, he strikes me as a bit of a hot shot. Yeah.
He's playing very well on this diva. I've been very impressed with him so far. And even his flexibility, you know, also just doing on Brig. But that's a hold there. Some ults invested out of UConn. They don't have a huge ult bank coming up to this next fight. They will be building up. BU, though, even further behind. They had to invest a lot to win that fight. So this is UConn. This is last fight. This is last fight, Mitch. So they have to use what ults they have, even though it's not a lot.
UConn maybe not even expected to be in map 3 against a team like Boston University, but here we are. So close to their goal. 3 seconds remain, and now we're going to be into our final overtime fight. Whining does have the pulse bomb just around the corner, but they lost Ebb and Flow early on. That's not what you want to see. They need the diva to be present. Getting a sleep dart there, but you're waking up a Reinhardt with just a bit of damage. It's a smattering. Bob is here now. Whining and Rhino are down. Boston University, that was clean as a whistle.
You've heard of PogChamp, but have you heard of BobChamp?
Yes.
Because that was Bob.
Yeah, Bob just drops on in. Big knockup. The damage that follows it up is often kind of scary as well. If you actually get knocked up by him, you're taking a big hit.
Taking a very big hit.
So a big shout out to our mates over at
DX Racer
XP as well.
And then also them right there.
Yeah, I actually had the pleasure of being interviewed by them when they were in Los Angeles recently. Great bunch of people, and they do great work as well.
Just get into the next round here, Mitch. And I think this is a winnable game for BU. It's winnable for either side because that was a great push. It wasn't full cap. So it's not exactly what you.
But it's a long. This is a long map,
distance,
right?
and it's a very tough last to cap as well for Dorado. So if I'm UConn, I'm not unhappy, and especially considering the stagger, the amount of like brutal spawn camping that sort of took place right there. Well, it wasn't really spawn camping, I guess. It was more of a choke holding than this. You weren't at the doors, but they were very aggressively holding them. But UConn didn't get very far off that deep bomb to Ebb and Flow. This is winnable. It's an anyone game.
I'd be interested to see if UConn opt to be aggressive on this chokehold. We've seen teams like we see it in contenders actually all the time. I think it was even last week now. So it was.
I think of the Skyfox's game.
No, it was the Atlanta Academy team against.
Oh
no, it was Sky when they were playing right up close on defense on this particular map. Yeah, that was.
Versus Second Wind, and it was. A little nasty. It was a little nasty. It was not OSHA approved.
No, it was not.
It was unsafe.
Definitely not kosher. But we saw defenders play up very, very close and play constantly aggressive and use the rooftops and use Winston and Diva very effectively, or just make sure they keep their health nice and topped up. Roof. Oh my lord! Just
can't stop
deleted.
The res though. Great pick, but can't stop the res.
Yeah, I mean, these didn't have the LOS to really interact with the Mercy. Korean Gambit, no fear, by the way.
And he gets him to the end anyway, so now there's no res on the field.
It's that dynamite job.
That value. So good by able to hit that dynamite there, because now there's no res anyways. He's just pushing forward, getting the pick still. Korean Gamer.
He's pretty good at games.
And they're going to do the res right in front of the highly charged Zarya. Risky. Very risky business there, but they get it. That's a quick, this should be a very quick first cap.
Yeah, Boston rolling straight through now as well. And the substitution, of course, of this very dynamic and impactful DPS player leads me to wonder why it didn't happen earlier.
Oh, he's continuing to go. He's damage boosting there. Look at
this. Who's going to stand up to him? Who has the range, the ability to close the Genji? Well, the Genji's dead.
I don't think they should be playing a range game at all. I mean, they are going to swap to that Widow because you will outrange the Ashe there. So, and it's very strong on second. But you could also, considering there's no Brig out on the field, and he's still chasing. He's going to get punished.
Risky.
Yeah, that was a little too risky.
He may have wanted to, well, he has Bob, so I doubt he'll do that here. Bob in the next fight will be pretty nice. Again, you buy a lot of time, you buy some space, you also make sure that you prevent any chance of stagger, and now there's going to be the resurrection right away. Bob comes out immediately, Ebb and Flow goes down. A Genji being lost to a Bob. That's definitely an exchange you're willing to make. Big shatter there as well from Tico, just very solid. Also a bubble given to him so it wasn't to be interrupted, but don't worry about that. UConn don't have any tools to really mess up this Ryan's day.
Korean Gamer's abusing every facet of the kit for Ashe. He's being mobile. He's hitting his shots. He's utilizing Bob in a way to just win a fight, get a one pick. Dynamite, harassing, keeping health low, keeping cooldowns out. He's playing the hero perfectly. I love what I'm seeing. I love Ashe. I'm glad Ashe is here.
Just on an individual level here, as the Korean Gamers just sort of slotted into this team and made a big impact. You can see their EasyV making it very clear on screen that he was intending the Graviton and the follow-up. It's perfect. Sassy just drops the bomb in there. And the Milkman left a very destructive wake. And now just a little bit of a push here for Boston. They have a huge time bank.
The time bank is 5.5 minutes.
Monumental.
They did use a lot of ults in that last fight, and UConn is up to plenty. And this is a tough blast to cap.
Sure.
As Korean Gamer continues to sit here, he's just going. He just won't stop. They can't pressure him. They really need a diva.
The coach gun, he knocked Evan Flow back. Evan Flow used the Dragon Blade to try and get rid of the Ashe, and he just gets knocked back by Korean Gamer, who has Bob again, by the way. Bob straight on in. Will be applying some shield pressure initially, and this is pretty ballsy. I mean, the fact that Boston are persisting with this particular push, but why not? You've got time. Maybe you can force some ultimates out of University of Connecticut now. Make them work for it. But with Bob's demise, Korean Gamer will start to back away.
They were down too many people in that fight after the grab, after the Genji Blade. I really want to see a diva out from the side of UConn. I really want to see something that can contest the Pharah, or not the Pharah, the Ashe and the Mercy a lot more. And diva negates Ana. She can eat all her projectiles. She can eat her cooldowns. I want to see a diva, but they're going with this. Ebb and Flow down already to Korean Gamer. The fight's going to break down on the point. Aeon is down, but huge. Great shatter.
He identified very quickly that Mr. Musk was out of position. There was no way the shield could have protected the rest of UConn, even if he did block some of the shatter. Korean Gamer just trying to hide in the corner now, and he's in a great position just to belt down on this Doomfist, and the other in the back. Varun down. Korean Gamer has the perfect perch here to survey the situation, and there it is, Boston University. They will get their rematch against Northeastern in the grand finals. My God.
Well done. Well done from BU. And they played perfectly off that sub. That sub really won them the map. He was so impactful there. And now they're going to the finals, and this is sort of what we predicted, but well done.
Absolutely. It was maybe the result that we expected to see at some point, but the way in which we got there, perhaps a little different. We'll have a look at the bracket here and at least try and illustrate this to you and show you what we mean. So the first match of the day was Northeastern versus Emerson College, and there definitely seemed to be a little bit of a mismatch in that game. Northeastern very solid. UConn surprised us. It was a 3-map series, went all the way. UConn showing a very solid Kings Row offering. Of course, I mentioned Checkpoint just briefly. Of course. They are here with us, Checkpoint XP. They're the only internationally syndicated show for gamers, by gamers, and it reaches over 1 million people a week on almost 70 stations in the US and Canada. I've been hanging out with them in the past in LA, and we're proud to be partnering with Checkpoint XP and Beasley Media for the Boston Uprising Collegiate Cup. So go ahead and say hi, by the way, to them. Norris and Robbie over there by the Checkpoint banner, and check out their daily podcasts online. I am standing here with a very excited Tico. I tell you what, we had you on camera there before. You can come a little bit closer as well. It's fine, we can hang out. A lot of shot calling. It was a pretty intense game there. You guys were yelling. I could hear through my my headset. Must be feeling pretty good now, knowing you've secured the rematch against Northeastern in the finals.
Yeah, you know, this is something that we've been looking forward to about a month at this point. When they had defeated us the first time around, it was a real shock and a little punch to the gut, because as a team, we were just rolling through TESPA, and then all of a sudden we just hit this big brick wall that just happened to be right down the street. So be able to have them, to be able to be face to face with them right here in this amazing venue, we're extremely excited. We're hoping that the time we put in and the practice we've been putting into this team will show off today.
Let's talk about that second map as well. You guys started very strong. It didn't seem like you had any problems at all sort of navigating things on control. But when we got to Kings Row, it seems that you were a little taken aback by the fact that it was like a Pharaoh Widowmaker composition you were trying to deal with on defense. Talk us through like your thought process on how you tried to remedy that, or what were your initial impressions of that comp?
Well, essentially, for the most of the practice and like preparation, we've been doing is more mostly Northeastern. So we have comps specifically set for the kind of comps that Northeastern runs. And essentially, we just didn't want to play those because we didn't want to show them what we are going to play.
Okay.
So we had to play goats. We had to. And unfortunately, they just steamrolled us towards the end. We really tried to pick it up, but, they're going to be in for a surprise.
That's it. Well, to be honest, it's impressive to see a team that is pushed to like maximum amount of maps, so like 3 maps, and still be able to sort of retain some sort of secrecy about what they're going to play in the final. So I'm excited for that, Tico. I wish you and your team the very best of luck.
Thank you so
you guys
much.
don't have much time. You're going to get ready for that game as well. So congratulations on making it so far.
I really appreciate it.
And hopefully I'll be up with you again later on. Thanks for joining me. And of course, guys, the season opener sweeps. Uprising fans, enter into the sweeps for your chance to win a trip to see the Uprising play their first match of 2019 at the Blizzard Arena in Los Angeles. You're going to get yourself round-trip air travel and hotel accommodations for yourself and a friend, along with tickets to the match and, like I said before, limited edition Boston Uprising jerseys. 5 runner-up winners to the grand prize will receive a photo signed by Boston Uprising players. You can enter to win in person at either one of the remaining Back to Boston fan events. So this Sunday, that's tomorrow, and Tuesday. Or you can enter online at bostonuprising.com/season opener. Let us have a little bit of a look now at some of the highlights from the Boston Uprising over the past year.
What a statement from the Boston Uprising after everything they've endured.
And they saved their best for last. I'm going to give it up to Gamsu. Gamsu is the engine that makes that dive for Boston really go.
Got a Kellick's in back there to finish him.
Every opportunity that's given to him, he delivers.
Our great angle from Note to find those kills. I love seeing this.
Well, and the kills are coming through now for Boston Uprising. They've done it! Unbelievable! That's all, folks.
Hello, everybody. I'm here with Boston Uprising's Gamsu, my former teammate. And we are going to ask you a couple questions here, Gamsu. I know you just got here, but it's pretty exciting to see the experience, the collegiate experience here on the stage, don't you think, to see all these college players playing the game?
It's so happy to see like everyone's cheering for every team, and like they are actually good. So I like it. I like it
a lot?
Yes, I like it a lot.
I agree. It's very exciting. And what about also this upcoming season? There's been a lot of changes to Boston Uprising for this upcoming season. You had a great first season. Are you hoping to keep that momentum coming in next season for Overwatch League Season 2 and do just as well, if not better, hopefully?
I think we lost some players, but I think we also got like good players. So I think we are gonna keep doing better and better next season.
And what about your off season? Have you had a fun time in off season? You do anything fun?
Yes, I do hiking a lot.
A lot of hiking?
Yeah, a lot of hiking.
I see that a lot. You're very into hiking. You're one with nature. I've noticed that.
Yes, I love nature. I just go hiking like every day. I mean, every week.
Every day? Everything? No. Every day,
every
really.
Day.
Every day on the hike. That would be pretty impressive. Do you have anything you'd like to say? Anything you wanted to say to anyone here? To the fans? To the fans of Boston Uprising? That anyone, really, watching the stream?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, guys, for cheering Boston Uprising. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gamsu. A lot of support out here in the crowd. It was great to see you again. Everyone's happy to see you. Glad you guys are back in Boston. Anything you're going to be doing in Boston in particular? Anything fun you're looking forward to?
I think we are going to watch Boston Celtics game soon.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, that's going to be it for us, Gamsu. And we're going to sign off here. But it was great to see you. Great to sign off. Great to see all the fans. Talk about your trip in Boston. Talk about the upcoming season. Just thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much. Good to see you guys.
And once again here, we see our DX Racer, one of our sponsors for this fine event. Beautiful chair being handed out live to the audience, which once again I have to say I can't win. Wish I could, but just be on the lookout because we are going to be handing that out later today, and it's going to be coming up very soon.
That's it, I'm back. Thank you very much, Connor. And great to hear from Gamsu there as well, to get some of his thoughts. Obviously, if you're surprised that his English is so good, he's been playing he's been playing esports in like this region for a heck of a long time now. So probably don't be too surprised at all. Nice to hear a little bit about the experience for them. Obviously coming down here to visit Boston. Some haven't been before. Some of the sort of more recent members of the Uprising team. And obviously, this might be their second trip over because it is a long way. I mean, it is weird for them as well. And I've talked to a few teams from the East Coast, teams that, excuse me, represent teams that are so far away from LA because they often don't feel like they're in their home field, right? They don't feel like they have a home field advantage. So guys like Philly, guys like Boston. So these events for them to come here as well have a special significance, and they finally feel like even if they're not competing at an our level, they feel like that there is a sort of a home field situation going on for them. So that's really nice. It's nice to see them light up when they see all the fans that turn up. And there was the fan meet last night was incredible. I saw all the photos and I was like, I don't know how they fit people in there. I don't know how the fire code allowed them to fit that many people into the building, but they did anyway. So love to see it.
The Boston sport fans have a lot of passion behind them. They really love the guys. They love being involved with the team. They love everyone on it. And it's always great for them to be back. I loved being here last season. It's perfect. It's a great city. It's great fans. And I don't think they could ask for anything better for such a dedicated group.
So now we have a stage set for our grand final. This is probably the final that we expected to see initially, and we did also mention that in the past, of course. Northwestern and Boston University, both of these teams are, have a bit of history between one another. There's revenge on the line. I talked to Tico about it as well. He's hoping to do some work here. So we have a chance here to meet the teams.
We've got the best players in Boston. We've got the best support staff in Boston. We just got such a great group of guys, and we got me at the head. Northeastern University, we're super strong in esports in Overwatch and outside. We are top 10 in TESPA right now. We're Rocket League national champions. Counter-Strike team is undefeated. We have one of the top 20 Smash players in the world. Overall, we're really confident as an organization. We're really excited to rep them in Overwatch.
We're the Boston home team. They should know that. They have to understand that. I am very grateful and very excited to be able to compete at this level. But I know more than anything, our drive and willingness to compete is in the places at the top. As Boston's home team, the advantage this gives us is the confidence to know that we're going to be representing home turf and the drive to defend our crown. BU, Boston Uprising, Boston University, match made in heaven. In all honesty, 100-0. Full destruction, full domination, baby. We want to prove our dominance and defend our crown. This is home turf, baby. We're here to defend it.
And there you go. Obviously a lot of pride on the line, Connor, but a little bit extra as well. Obviously the winning team heading over to Los Angeles. They will be winning themselves not only the flights, but also the accommodation to hang around in LA and tickets to see the Boston Uprising play a match during the 2019 Overwatch League season. That's getting very close now, but in the meantime, let's focus right here on the Boston Uprising Collegiate Cup. This is how it all works.
And let's just remember, we have both teams here. These are all BO3s. Most wins advance. If neither team wins those maps, the team with the most wins advance, obviously. Yeah. But 3 predetermined map types, control, hybrid, escort. We've seen it before. And also 6 starting players. Both teams, the alternates up to 3 subs between maps.
We saw a quick sub.
We did see a sub, and subs can make a big impact. We just saw it in that last game right there. We even saw also the Ashe as well coming into play, which is live on this particular tournament.
And it made all the difference in that previous map as well. We saw that brought into play on the map of Dorado by Boston University. Here is our finals map pool set up here as well. And as we now know, it will be Boston University versus Northeastern. Northeastern, good help me, Busan. It's going to be our first match of this final. Let my brain just catch up with my mouth.
Very new map.
We haven't seen, very new map. We haven't seen much of this one so far. One in which we've seen, again, tanky compositions do a lot of work. Mecha base especially is, a map very favored by those compact, slower moving comps, but we see it here as well on Shrine.
Yeah, tank comps are strong on all stages of this map. The only one you would see maybe a little bit more flexibility on, you would see it potentially on maps where you want to see that high ground, when you see it utilized, when you see that skybox where you can use Pharah. But Goat's so strong throughout all this map. There's a lot of compact, tight spaces.
And this might be something that we actually do expect both teams to play. Like we in the past, we saw one of the two teams try to go for something different. We saw that obviously University of Connecticut didn't want to play Goats. They played a lot more of those Pharah compositions until Kings Road defense. Both of these two teams will probably want to play that one. If you're wanting to know a little bit more outside of maybe what they play, maybe what their name is, that's a good one. Let's meet the Northeastern players face to face.
My name is Matt Lucido. I'm from Reading, Connecticut, and play Flex DPS.
My name is Mason Lin. I'm from Washington, D.C., and I play main tank for Northeastern University.
My name is Mike Kim from Philly, Pennsylvania. I play main support for Northeastern University. I'm Riley Cowell from Winnipeg, Manitoba. I play off tank for Northeastern University.
My name is Kurt Dean. I'm from Wellesley, Massachusetts, and I play flex support for Northeastern University.
My name is Kalaku. I'm from Singapore, and I play hitscan DPS for Northeastern University.
I love, they're sort of standing around waiting for the shot to finish, so I walk away. Easy V just walked off his shot, which was really funny. This is the team that we saw straight up first game of the day, looked really dominant, and there wasn't much resistance offered up by Emerson, I think is probably the nicest way to put it there. Matt Woe on your screen as well, the two DPS players, looked really, really comfortable. Alliance there as well, obviously the flex player on this team. There's a lot of pocketing going on. We talked to Dogs, and Dogs is like, sometimes I'm not there to play with Matt, and we get a ringer. And it's so weird when he heals anyone else but Matt, because everyone gets so upset at them. I'm like, wow. They're trying to instill this pocket mentality in the healers, but again, players like Matt who do have resources invested in them are able to have a big impact, and we did see that. So
they get a lot of return on that investment.
Will it be so easy to squeeze so much value out of him here, though, especially a pick like a Pharah against two teams that like to play a lot of Goats?
On Busan, maybe not. The first map of this series, it might be a little bit tougher to utilize Busan, to utilize that Pharah to its fullest extent. So we'll probably see a little bit more break. Probably see a lot more break, legitimately. But knowing Northeastern and knowing how strong, how confident they are, how much Matt really wants to be pocketed, I think it's still possible.
We'll get comfortable with that one, but for now, let's check in with the faces and names of the Boston University team.
My name is Joseph Yeb, but I go by the in-game name of Tico. I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, and I play main tank.
Hi, nice to meet you. My name is Victor Wiseman. I'm from Long Island, New York. I go by the handle Easy V. It's for Easy Victor, and tonight is going to be an easy victory. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Woo-Hyun Kim. I come from South Korea. I go by the in-game name of Korean Gamer, and my role is DPS.
Hi, my name is Shane Fu. I come from China. I go by the game name Sassy, and I play Flex Tank.
Hi, my name is Brian Nguyen. I go by Arctic, and I play Flex Support.
Hi, my name is Jack, and I'm from Hong Kong, and my role is DPS for Boston University.
My name is Ian Mallard. My in-game tag is Aeon, and I play Flex Support for Boston University.
My name is Jared Yellen. I go by Gitsera, and I play Flex Tank for Boston University. I'm Takumo Katani, otherwise known as Rotsunami, and I play main tank for Boston University.
9 players registered for this Boston University lineup. We've seen a little bit of that versatility previously. Now, they've told us still, Tico said to me, we have so much more to show. In fact, we didn't want to play the comps that we were saving for this particular matchup prior, so we had to let it go to 3 maps. Now, whether there's truth to that or not, we will be finding out one way or another, but at least confidence is there.
Confidence is definitely there, and they lived up to their promise. They have a lot more to show, and it just depends if Tico's voice gives out before then or not. He's starting to get a little hoarse, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, I am too, to be honest. It's getting pretty fired up in here. Hey, we found a home for our DX Racer chair, by the way. So big congratulations to this person who managed to come away with a sweet DX Racer Racing Series gaming chair, Karen. Congratulations.
I'd be just as happy.
And a big thank you to Karen, of course, for getting involved, but also thank you to DX Racer for being a sponsor of the Boston Uprising Collegiate Cup. And again, are you sick of hearing me say you'd love to see it? Now, of course, The Back to Boston fan events are still going on, so join the Boston Uprising tomorrow at Johnny Cupcakes. That's a place apparently on Newbury Street in Boston. Stop by the store to meet Blase, Note, and Kellex Du Bois for autographs between 3 and 5 p.m. Also, an exclusive Johnny Cupcakes designed Boston Uprising t-shirt will be available there starting at 3 p.m. I gotta go to this place. This sounds amazing.
Johnny Cupcakes? Yeah, it does.
Then on Tuesday, come to Dave & Buster's, another great name, in the Providence Place Mall to meet your favorite Uprising players, enjoy arcade games, and shop their limited edition winter line of merchandise, which is only available during the month of December, by the way. Limited edition at fan events and on the Uprising Shopify online store. All fans, by the way, who purchase a $20 Dave & Buster's Eat and Play Combo Power Card will receive free unlimited video gameplay throughout the evening. So check out the URL on screen, bostonuprising.com/back to Boston to check that one out, of course, and get involved in donating toys, especially to benefit children in need this holiday season. That's what we're getting around with that particular event. But now let's take one more look at the road ahead. It's a short road, to be sure, but it's possibly the most exciting stretch. Northeastern, Boston University, coming straight at us, ladies and gentlemen. It is moments away as these players are getting ready. And Connor, I have to ask you, where is your initial impression? We haven't got to see these two play together. We've seen them play separately. It does seem like Northeastern maybe looked a little bit less shaky.
I think Northeastern, that's a very polite way, a very even-keeled, very gentle way of putting less shaky by meaning they look really good. They look really, really strong. And we've seen them, and in the past they've played. So even though we haven't directly seen them at this tournament, we do know what the previous result was. So Boston obviously wanting to upset that, wanting to change it this time around. And they, I mean, if I would see more play like that for Dorado play, where it was just non-stop frag, non-stop action, I think they could. And I like their flexibility a lot.
Northeastern definitely seemed to have the ability to slow the pace down or control it at the very least. When they wanted to go big, they went big. When they wanted to slow down, that was also an option. Boston University held a LAN at Boston University. They hosted it themselves. They invited teams from New England. They got smashed by Northeastern. It was 2-0, and now they're here to reclaim their pride in front not only of a local crowd, but also the Boston Uprising and that organization. And we're going to be heading into Busan to kick things off with here, and Korean Gamer remains in the lineup unchanged otherwise for Boston University.
Was that your first time hearing about Dave & Buster's, by the way? You got really amped over that name.
I don't know.
You haven't heard that franchise before?
What is it?
It's just like a, you play games, you eat food.
Oh, yeah, it's an arcade. Yeah, that sounds sick. When I saw, like, if you buy, like, an Eat and Play card, I was instantly interested. No, I mean, Australia doesn't have those things. I mean, and I don't get out that much in LA because I'm too busy doing Overwatch League, so that's how it be. Let's get this started, ladies and gentlemen. Grand final time. Boston University in the red, Northeastern in the blue.
And they're going to be rolling out here to this first mid-fight. Looking like a pretty mirror matchup here, except for Matt on that Mei along with the Moira. So still tanks on both sides, triple tank, but no 3-3 setup. Here comes the wall, trying to isolate Tico, and they were not able to get that frag.
Diva gets out there, baiting the wall rather effectively. The Mei will still have its own degree of effectiveness, but Northeastern might want to wait a little bit before that cooldown's back, before they return to the point. And now they make their approach. Tico getting a little bit low, getting a little bit frosty there as well. He's frozen solid, he's down. But Blanco also falls. Both teams quickly trade out their Reinhardts, and this Mei definitely doing some work on him.
Korean Gamer, though, so high charge, doing so much on the point. They committed so much to get that frag on a Tico, but they don't have the sustain because the Mei is not getting those frags they need, while the Brick is giving them sustain on the side of Boston.
Yeah, Matt's not having it anymore. He's going to be switching back to Brick himself. It was worth a try, but it's clear that Boston University this time around are ready.
But losing that first fight, though, they're going to be behind in that ult bank. Rally up, trance up. Already huge impactful ults that will impact this next fight as well. They're going to come through the next turn.
Yep, rally now from Sassy, uses it straight away. Tico fell so early in that fight. Boston now on the back foot in a big way. There is an Earth Shatter available, and Blanco doesn't have an opposing shield to block it. He was waiting for just this moment. He only gets one. It's Sassy that goes down, and the bubble makes it impossible to get the kill. Now the Graviton Surge being used. Boston's not only stalling this fight out, but making it very, very hard for Northeastern to get the edge in this fight. It looks like they might finally have found it with Allianz dropping down with the self-destruct. Woe relatively charged, Discord Orb on Korean Gamer making an easy meet to carve up.
The peel for Sassy was so good there, but they weren't able to but they weren't able to follow up after that. Late grab combo coming out for Allianz, coming out for Woe. They weren't just able to survive at all. They didn't have Ryan there to block any of that damage. So just losing Tico early there, pretty much the crux of the loss of that fight there, and you cannot lose your Reinhardt early, especially when you have both your supports up. You have Rally and Trams.
It feels like all the resources they used to keep Sassy alive were not present when Tico maybe needed them most. They are going to lose one of them either way. Here's a Transcendence now coming out from Northeastern, and easy feat. Very frustrating for him. He can get a very quick charge back up on his mech though, so he returns to the fray almost instantly as Diva. Tico, that's a wild charge, but he manages to find something on the end of his hook now. Needs to be careful. He could get knocked off. And there it is, Dogs.
Just breaking down the fight here on the point. Very aggressive from Tico, trying to beat him there, but Northeastern just coming back together, trying to keep on that sustained. Matt sitting on the point. There's so many heals coming out AoE from this Brigitte, but it's going to be the end of the fight there.
Yeah, all of those Inspire procs. Knocked back was Tico. Not allowed to get to the point until later on, so Northeastern happy enough with that one. Finally regaining control. Boston seem to be in a decent position. They still have a Transcendence coming into the next fight. The Earth Shatter, and of course the self-destruct from Allianz. His last self-destruct in this round got him 2 kills. He'll need to at least get
and
that
BU
much
deciding to go out of this top left pyramid. There's the Shatter. They do not get very much out of it. They get the Diva down, the D-Mech out, and that's all you need. You can play slow, play around the Diva being down, and just win the fight through the sustain. Win the fight through your extra Diva damage.
They're hard to mitigate this damage, and this is where the Brick can just sort of walk up with the Ryan as well. Woe finds Korean Gamer again, must be charged up. Matt, he's dealt with Aeon. It's going to be over already, and now Northeastern just starting to ease into this setup a little bit more now. The first pick was seen to be worth the investment of the Earth Shatter. I mean, they've got 40% on their next one, so they're not really complaining. I mean, the fact that they have a Transcendence and a Graviton coming into this next fight,
the combo's
just
there.
As well. Both
just need to set it up.
Both teams have it. So we'll see how early they can force those ultimates out of Boston University. It comes in now. Transcendence being used over the fight. Woe, very charged up and forced to back away, and there it is. Tico picked off by the self-destruct.
And they're just be fighting here on the point. Tico down, so now if they keep the Reinhardt alive for the side of Northeastern, this should be a one fight. You have so much sustain on your front line. Beat comes out late from BU after the mech was already lost. This has not been a good exchange at all for BU.
Yeah, both teams beating up, and Northeastern just had the better timing. It seemed at least. Korean Gamer once again falling down now, and it seems like the secret weapon brought in for Boston doesn't really get the job done against staunch opposition like Northeastern. They'll be happy with that one. Overtime down. First round, Northeastern.
Especially in this GOAT setup, maybe Korean Gamer not having the impact they want since he is very DPS-centric. Maybe they're just not having that communication, that ult usage, that cooldown usage that they want out of a more typical or someone that's more comfortable, I would say, on off-tank, especially Zarya. But well played. It was close. Just a little bit of unfortunate ult usage, I would say, out of the side of BU. Maybe not what they wanted to be getting, losing people early while having those ults up to save them, and using them late when you want to then be saving those.
Yeah, it's so funny. We see things like the great peel that Sassy got, and then the implication of that further down the track is that, well, these cooldowns were expended all at the same time to save this player, so now Tico doesn't have that protection, and there always seems to be an equal and opposite reaction somewhere along the line if you pay enough attention, and that's goats for you as well. Timing's very important. I don't mind Widowmaker here. She definitely has a couple of good perches to play from, but Korean Gamer must get bang for buck here to justify this pick.
But they engage so early from Northeastern, actually just keeping them in the choke. Korean Gamer's going to have to look for a flank. Great pickup onto the Brick. EasyB going down. The Discord kept on them while they just walk over them. So much aggression from the side of Northeastern, and Korean Gamer gets a late pick, but the fight's over.
The sight lines were not good for Korean Gamer. It seems as if Boston University engaged in such a way where Korean Gamer wasn't ready. He wasn't set up. He was actually waiting for his team to give the signal, but we saw them engaging before he moved. Regardless, whichever way that it comes out in the wash, Northeastern win that fight very convincingly, and Korean Gamer already can find one pick, and he has to flank all the way around to the backside.
And the second big difference here is that they are running that on the side of Boston. The Nano's going to come out. Here comes the engage. There's an anti-2. Will they be able to get any value at all? No, the peel is up. They get an early pick on the map, but trade the Lucio in return. And right now, Tico seems to just be doing his best to get everyone out of the field. Northeastern.
Yeah, getting rid of Kumpatsy is a very good start. Not only was Kumpatsy close to Transcendence, but it's gonna make it a little bit harder for him to get in that next fight.
And they're just gonna clean up the fight on the point here, Mitch.
Yep.
This is EasyV just cleaning up, getting that rally. Tico will have ult, and now they control the point. And this is where the Widowmaker gets a little bit stronger, Because you're not trying to make that peak entry where there's aggressing upon you on the choke. You're actually you're playing those different angles and trying to get a pick on the backline.
You have a lot more room.
The fat finger. That is a fat finger. We've seen that before. Tico just gave me a look from the stage. He's like, yeah, I did that. I was like, and I can respect that, honestly. I can respect that he owns up to it.
I didn't let Custer get away with it. We're not going to let Tico get away with it either. Anyway, double rally being used now over the point here. With Korean Gamer has a lot more room, so let's see if we can find that value. You can see the shots ringing in from off screen, but the damage is just not coming fast enough. Northeastern just lands on the ground oh so gracefully and immediately removes the support plays. The Widowmaker not being the difference maker in that fight.
Northeastern is also playing perfectly around Korean Gamer. They are being extremely aggressive onto the front line, taking the fight with sightlines where he can't be. They approach the point from that bottom right directly to the point itself, to the actual capture.
Yeah, it seems kind of like
and now
out of
Korean
their
Gamer
way.
couldn't get any angles at all because they were on top of the team and it was too late for him to get any value.
They knew they'd be going up against the Widow. They purposely took a more circuitous route, and it pays off. That's good planning, and that's the result of it.
They will be making that swap to the brick, though. No more Widow for them. They said they've had enough. Great chokehold here from Northeastern. Not letting them in for free. Aggressive beat, but there's Diva Bomb, but no value out of there. And
no one should be falling to those. Neither Diva finds any kills. Is that no? I speak a lie.
A little bit too soon there.
The Diva mech there spoke too soon, perhaps, but either way, Northeastern again. Easy and this looking pretty comfortable. Patsy down, so Easy's given a lot of room here. I wonder if that was communicated properly to someone like Blanco, who now uses Primal Rage to remove him. I guess Northeastern are believing if they can stagger EasyV, there won't be another full fight for Boston. And you know what? They might be right.
I was about to say it was a little bit of a misplay to pop the ult there to get EasyV, but guaranteeing the fight, the kill so late, was definitely worth it in that situation. The rally's out, they're still holding, trying to stagger. There was a point. The beat doesn't
just
save Arctic right before, and now this is all in Northeastern's favor.
Korean Gamer now going for the rally, but he gets taken low. He's still chill bashed by Madden, removed already. And Northeastern, there was just a couple openings that they were able to exploit from Boston University, but that's all it takes in this game. EasyV, he's just chilling up on that high ground, but he'll get stunned up and discorded and taken down, and there's nowhere to go for Boston University. Map 1, Northeastern again.
Just a loss of momentum there in that fight. They committed very hard to the characters they chose in the beginning of the round. They weren't able to get any picks. They weren't able to get the openings that they needed, and they need to make those swaps a little bit earlier. Just moving on to this next fight here.
You can hear the sounds coming from the stage. A little bit of dissatisfaction
there's
from
a little bit of
Boston.
dissatisfaction. You know, just a little bit. Pogs for dogs. And coming up here, while we're waiting for this next map, myself is going to be interviewing a big favorite of my own and also the Boston Uprising. I'm here with Lucas the Note Meisner. What's up?
I love you, man.
I love you too, sir.
I miss you so much.
Oh, my mic's on this side. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? Having a great time.
Pretty good. It's cold.
It's freezing.
It's really
freezing
cold. I know. It's very, very cold. You're Canadian. What do you have to complain about?
Well, I'm used to the California weather now.
Oh, I guess that's true. And what do you think about this match you see so far here at the Collegiate Cup? Are you enjoying what you're seeing? Do you like the support?
Yeah, I love it. I'm really actually a big fan of Collegiate Esports. I think I started to doubt it when I first saw it, but now, honestly, it's a really good opportunity for students who want to go to school, they want to keep doing that, but they also want to keep playing games on the side. And I think it's, I think a lot of talent's going to come out of it in the future.
Yeah, someone that also came playing, you know, starting professionally in college, definitely. The TESPA scene is so strong, and seeing the support, seeing the events like this is great. And moving up, Overwatch League Season 2. How are you feeling for Boston for Season 2? How are you feeling about your roster that's coming up, all the moves you've made? What are you guys thinking moving in there?
Honestly, I feel like we found some gems from the other regions.
I've heard that before,
yeah.
And it was true.
Yeah, last season we did the exact same thing. We found a bunch of people who didn't have huge reputations and they didn't have the big egos, and then we came in and we surprised everybody. I think we're going to do the exact same thing for the second season.
And what about all these fan events you're having here, your second time back in Boston? You have a couple coming up, like the Dave & Buster's, the Johnny Cupcakes. You know, are you excited to go to those? Are you excited to see the fans again?
Oh, I'm super excited. I love going to these fan events. I love seeing everybody. I absolutely love the support, and I love you guys.
All right, well, there I was with Note the Meisner, the Orange Avenger. And, you know, it was just great to see him again. And thank you very much.
Man, much appreciated.
And Mitch making his way back on stage, my co-casting partner. And we're moving into this next map soon. It's going to be a hybrid.
Yes.
Well, actually, it will be a hybrid. Yeah, it's Hollywood. It is hybrid.
It's hybrid.
Sometimes they're just getting swapped over my head. There's a lot of terms coming out there. And we're just moving on to Hollywood. And I think this will be, this is where Ash will thrive. I think, I mean, she even has lore advantage a little bit, a little Wild West
Yeah, kinda.
On one part. On one part.
I
of the
assume
map,
that
at
she's
least.
from Santa Fe, like McCree, or at least around there. So maybe
It's
LA.
not Route 66, but it's close enough. It's like you get a 50% damage.
I will
bonus.
give you a half lore buff.
Yeah.
All right. I can see it. That's what we're jumping into. Yeah, great to hear from Note as well. Definitely a fan favorite player on the Boston Uprising, and it's cool to hear that he's
Fan favorite of mine.
Yeah.
I love that guy. I discovered him.
Did
Put
you
him out
really?
there.
Did
Oh,
you
yeah.
really discover him? You're gonna take credit for this, right?
I am going to take credit for this, 100%.
All right.
2016, I'm your Huckleberry, unsponsored team, found
I'm your
Note in the ranked ladder, picked him up. That's right. I'm ready for my Finder 3 still. Still waiting for that. It's coming my way.
Huxley, just go and
It's
ask him,
coming
bro.
my way.
I'd like to see how that goes. Good luck and Godspeed.
The best men are on it. My best men are on that, which is me.
Well, Northeastern now. Yeah, pardon me. I obviously maybe once or twice referred to them as Northwestern, which is obviously incorrect, but you'd be surprised how easy it is to mix up some names.
Cardinal directions. I mean, do we even use those anymore?
Yeah, well, no. I mean, in my country we do because it's just so big, like you need to kind of know where you are. But anyway, Northeastern on the defensive side here, and they will actually be starting rather excitingly with the wrecking ball. But Korean Gamer, no messing, no fuss. Come straight in on the Ash here, and like you said, you were hoping to see that.
Playing a very spread comp here. They don't want to lose anyone early to the damage from this Ash, to getting stunned by Brig. They just want to let them in. They want to poke, they want to get damage, and the Hammond committing, but he's going to get out. They won't be able to get that frag, but there's so much damage coming out onto the shield on Tico. It's going to make it very hard for them to move on to this point.
I mean, if you're Matt, you have to play so cannily, using those rooftops to obscure yourself and LOS the enemy DPSs as often as you can. It'll make it a little bit harder for Matt to deal with, but I'm quite sure as a Pharah main, he's been in this situation many times before.
Losing Bronco, but here comes the barrage. Getting 2, getting 3.
How does he get away with that? How does he do that?
The Diva Matrix from Alon's kept him alive that entire time. There was no damage other than the Zarya to actually go through that Matrix, and so perfectly coordinated from Northeastern.
And of course, again, because Boston are going a little bit greedy in this kind of setup comp and going for the Ash, they don't have a Diva. They cannot stop these high-impact ultimates, and that tripped them up a little bit against University of Connecticut as well. A lot of opportunities for Ebb and Flow to just go for crazy grabs.
They have decided to make that
much
swap
like that.
now, though. Right after that play, they're getting a Diva, they're getting a Widow as well, which I do like those swaps. I think Diva's too strong of a character not to have at all points. You just can't be having. But the ult advantage here for Northeastern looking really, really strong.
Woe goes down early in the fight, so Boston may actually find their entry point here. Tico getting aggressive. Oh man, he's trying to put the team on his back and get it done himself.
Tico doing so much there, getting 2 frags, wall nanoed, and Aeon in the backline actually picking up the Ana, using the remnants of that Valve to get the frag, and now Boston control the point. Just don't leave it. This is yours.
No.
They're going to look for this. They're going to look for Matt to come in, maybe follow up with a Diva Bomb with the Hammond ult, which denies so much space.
Nothing much that Mac can really do here, so all right, creates some space now with that minefield. Well, with that EMP being used, it doesn't actually turn that minefield off. Be very mindful of that. It keeps that on. So Boston still need to make their way back into the point. Things have been slowed down a little bit more now. Tico's there, charges in, does get hacked up, but found dogs already.
Tico has not stopped at any point. Mitch, Tico is just continuing to go. He's been fragging on point this entire time, dropping the shatter. He's still there.
Now, even he can't believe
is the most vulnerable target too in this comp, and they haven't been able to get him.
Great recovery. That EMP from Woe could have been curtains for Boston as they tried to make that last push. Tico very bravely strides into the field of mines, Saving Private Ryan style, and swings a hammer. Gets 3 kills and secures the point for Boston. Nicely played.
And they will have this combo moving in. Matt, here's the barrage getting 2, putting a ton of damage on the shield, and once again, great value out of the barrage. Using only 1 ult, getting 2, winning the fight. They're going to chase into spawn and just try to pick up their own ults.
Amidst all that chaos, it's such an easy pick-off for Woe to go into the back line and finish the McCree that would have taken some splash damage from the Rockets anyway.
And keeping Tico alive as they were staggering was really, really well played from Boston. They were at the spawn doors. Great nade from Arctic. They're going to come back. And now the setup here is Woe has to be getting this EMP. Has to be getting ready to engage with this EMP, maybe using the nano as well, onto the Diva, onto the Hammond to clean up those frags.
Easy B now. Again, here comes the minefield rain, but the Hammond was put to sleep. Now Graviton searches to catch Matt. That is called investing in a high-value target, and Easy B, he's pleased with himself there. Right click. Both the Pharah Mercy comp are dealt with. Well, Boston are convinced that that's all there really is to Northeastern. You deal with that combo and it's fight over, man.
Yeah, if you drop a grab for the Fair Mercy, that's 100% worth it. Especially when the Nano's on them, they chose to use that to try to get that barrage faster, get those picks on the back line. That was a great grabs on Surge here. And he still has all of his energy, which is perfect for ruining his next fight to melt these tanks. But the EMP, this is a fight winner. This is an ult that's a game winner. This is a fight that's
it almost gave them that point A back after they completely lost it. Whoa, EMP now as well. That looks like a big one. It's time for Matt to follow up. He needs to get his barrage and not get picked up, but Assassin with 4! Oh no! Northeastern looked like they had all the marbles and all the keys. And none of it really worked out.
Well,
Korean
the keys were not right. They didn't go to that house.
Wrong keys.
They were
not just
opening that lock.
It was like a really old lock, and they're trying to bring out, I don't know, some like fancy-ass new age stuff. Ain't gonna work. Now the trash talk is getting going, and Sassy really opened that fight up.
The
Big
defensive
Diva
bombs have been really good, Mitch. Instead of using them offensively, which they did there, they used that combo, there was no shield, they've actually been using them defensively. You turn around, launch the Diva Bomb into your own team to peel them off their backline, to peel them off those players that are vulnerable, and they're all hard committed, so they died. It was great. Well played from Sassy.
Call out there, we can even hear it from the floor. Tico says, I have Shadow. He apparently, his greatest skill as an Overwatch player is screaming.
And screaming's good in a venue like this, and in just in general. Screaming can do a lot for you. The ult bank so strong though for Northeastern in this fight. They're setting up this Nano Barrage soon, I imagine. Bubble out, Matrix. He's sort of just sitting here shooting a Diva now, but he got that one pick. That's all they needed.
So if you're Sassy then, do you still fly directly at the Farah when you have the Mercy pocket, or do you just...
I mean, you definitely do. They might not have had Diva. They might have had, or might have just lost. But like flying at them, especially if there's no other threats going on in the backline, because there's no McCree ult or no Soldier like sitting there beaming your team. Flying at them is perfect because especially when they're dropping the ult, they can just kill themselves on the Diva bank.
That's right. Oh, is this respect from Northeastern? Matt switching over towards the Brigitte here.
Well, this can be very good for winning this frontline duel, especially while they're trying to run these DPS setups. The grab's out, and it is actually pretty good. Yeah.
I thought I got in for just a moment there as well, but it was just too far away, and we have a small screen.
Oh, Blongo!
Cowabunga, baby! Blongo just drops the hammer.
Big shadow.
For that 1 second, I felt like a Korean caster. You know what I mean?
For a little bit. I mean, you have to bring those hype when Blongo's on screen hitting those fat shatters. Then you gotta bring it up.
That was very large. Especially what I do love as well is the Reinhardts that have the balls to Earth Shatter when at that time the enemy shield is there. Just like believing or feeling either that the Ryan shield's gonna get dropped, or he'll get stunned, or it'll run out of juice. Like, I love that. Shattering into a shield and still getting the Earth Shatter off is amazing. Charge forward there. Tico couldn't do anything about that. He got run down by Matt and Co. But that's the trade kill there. Brick does go down, but they find the Ryan.
Trading there, and the Nano Brick so strong, and Blongo has dropped another Shatter and taking out the Brig. Huge. And Blongo just won't stop. They're gonna chase the frags now. Blongo. Bingo, bongo, Blongo.
So Blongo just won't stop sounds like a terrible children's book as well.
Incredible. And that's perfect because they were just, their Brig was so worried about going forward, getting that value while Nanoed. They just shattered because the shield wasn't up. Then they were able to clean up the fight. Good charge. Blongo's been playing excellently.
It's been fantastic. Better to watch over this last map or so. He's definitely improved. First we saw Bongo Cat, now see Blongo Cat. Let's see what he can do. Charge in. Tico wants the shatter, but he's so low he can't get it off.
Use only one ult.
Runs it down.
Rally, only Rally invested.
Speed boost, baby. That may as well be an ult.
Speed boost is very good. Moving fast, being able to power up your legs. I mean, it's much like how it's crazy how Soldier's one of his abilities is like being able to use his legs, run kind of fast. It's pretty crazy.
But like, in the context of this game and the other abilities available, especially like utility abilities for support, and how impactful the speed boost can be in terms of changing your positioning so quickly and overrunning an enemy team.
Speed boost brings a lot. It brings a lot. There's the shatter out. It is going to get a few, but there is the trance out there. The Diva Bomb. They won't have to get a lot. There's the they get the shatter down. Beat. Everything is committed in this fight.
It's getting loud right now. Taken down by the self-destruct. Woe and just playing up towards the side for the time being there is Tico really just thriving in this situation. He's back-to-back with Korean gamers, so those Inspire procs are happening very quickly. There's a lot of them. So the healing's been very good for Boston, and they've managed just to thrive in the carnage and the chaos. Looks like Northeastern had it with that combo set up. They might have a chance to touch here, though. Lucio in the door, not going to happen.
And they do not.
They get the map done, okay.
A lot of ults invested in that fight, and Boston comes out ahead. Tico is pumped.
Now, if there's one thing I've learned, and I learned this playing the talent takedown, do not celebrate after only having finished half of
Yes, you should have learned that.
Yeah, no. Well, I wanted to trash talk Puckett really badly, so I'm glad I didn't have me mic'd up for that part. I had to take my headset off to do that. But yes, I celebrated halfway through the map, and then we got stomped on the next side. So they played Doomfist.
Still a lot more Overwatch ahead. It is just one complete. And not a blazingly fast time either.
No,
so
they just got the map done. Yeah, it was in overtime, if I'm not mistaken, which is pretty significant, of course. One team finishing in overtime, one team finishing with time left. I mean, it's a huge advantage to the team that actually has the time bank. So, yes, on paper, it's nice to get 3 checkpoints, but if Northeastern do it in any sort of quicker fashion, this series is already over. Best of 3.
It can be looking very grim, and it does look like they're potentially going to roll out again with that comp they like so much. Never mind, they've swapped again. They've baited me. So instead, I don't know what they're going to be doing at all. I probably shouldn't be calling it until they're actually out of the spawn doors. But Boston choosing to go with the static defense here.
Nothing is more enjoyable than like standing next to a caster who's like doing the attacking team's team comp, and they just keep switching it. Like,
unfortunate. Unfortunate for me. I should have learned my lesson.
Sometimes they stick to it, but back in the old days of Overwatch, when you guys all used to like get Torbjorns, like B6 Torbjorns, and run around and chase each other, there was just no point. Now it's more believable. But this defense setup, okay, it's kind of like this anti-dive run, or at least I'm seeing. Actually, no. You know what? This is weird. There's no Junkrat here. There's an Ashe.
Running an Ashe instead.
Orisa?
I mean, the Orisa makes sense
Mercy.
if you want that static defense. And the Mercy's whole point is just to peel for the Zen and also damage boost, give utility to the Ashe there. Because you want that Ashe doing a ton of damage, playing behind that shield, getting healed for. But Northeastern is running the perfect comp to completely dislodge that. They're going to go all the way around, and they're just going to clear them off the high ground and then try to catch them on the point when they can.
I mean, this is perfect. This is what Northeastern wanted. Now they can set up here. They're in a great position to train, get damage, and overrun this Orisa. That's what Tico's scared of right now, and so he should be. He tries to fortify, but he's taken down. EasyV was the first casualty, and that was an excellent read from Northeastern. They must have seen this kind of thing before, or at least their shot caller knew how to respond. Korean Gamer managed to coach gun himself off into the sunset, but still doesn't get out alive.
Textbook from Northeastern. McGraw-Hill, if I've ever seen it before. That was very well done. Rotated, cleared them up high ground, then caught the tank line on the ground, and the Ryan can just swing for free. The Orisa can't do anything about it. She can fortify, but then she's just like tankier getting smacked. So, not a fun time.
Well, again, and Orisa is like, okay, well, I fortified. I'm not taking much damage. Oh, the enemy team is behind me. Oh, they're also in front of me, and they're on my left and right. And here I am stuck in the middle with you doing all the damage to me, and I can't peel it all from my backline because my hold's off cooldown. So, on cooldown. Doesn't always feel great. Earthshatter here as well. You see, there was an attempt for Korean Gamer to interrupt that Earthshatter, but I believe the shield bash pulled up a little bit short.
Yeah, maybe overestimated the distance that you fly using that bash. Maybe showing a little unfamiliarity, like more DPS centric, not so much playing that break hero. And the ult advantage still continuing to tick up, only having to use 2 ults and rally like we talked about. Even though you use it in a fight, you still get value for fights to come because the armor's on you.
It's so scary for Boston knowing the Northeastern are rationing these ultimates so efficiently. Still have 4 left, make it 3, but they'll see they're going to get a lot of value out of this fight. They force the Transcendence. It doesn't matter! They go for the self-destruct anyway, and Allianz just wipes the floor with them. Nothing but dust and ash and sadness left at Boston University right now, and you gotta feel that that's pretty nasty. Fortunately, they didn't actually use the Transcendence there, so
good save for them not to use the Transcendence fight. Great setup as well, flanking behind. But Boston, there's still time for them to come out. If they're able to get out here, if they're able to get a trance, they could actually reasonably recontest this.
I was gonna be worried about that. No, they don't even get out that door. Damn, that's a heavy toll that's being excised right now.
Northeastern playing that perfectly. Sitting at the door, not letting them out for free, knowing they have to come to the point they don't have ults yet.
That is like going to your local bar and being told there's a $100 cover charge. I'm not having it.
A pummeling, a true pummeling. And we're just here continuing on through the map. Northeastern looking so dominant. Now, Boston, they finally gotten some ults up. This is finally a fight they can win. And Blast can be tough to tap, but there's 5 minutes on the side for Northeastern.
You can't even say that with a straight face.
I can't. It's a lot of time.
Self-destructing, this is where it has to begin for Boston. They find nothing with it though. Sassy goes down after being outside of the mech. Come Patsy picked it up perfectly in Northeastern. Again, the machine churns. And they are looking very well oiled right now. Another one from Kampachi to send 3 picks in this
And
fight.
the grab
Beautiful.
is everything that you don't want to happen has just occurred. This is a Lemony Snicket book series of unfortunate events.
Yeah.
If I've ever seen it before, this is not what you want to be seeing in that scenario.
It's a Groundhog Day for Boston University or what? Switching to the Bastion now. It's like a simulation, it's a bad simulation. It's like trying to play Dark Souls in real life.
I've seen this work before. This Bastion actually, if not pressured, can do a lot of damage. He's sitting on high ground. The beat's invested. There's the grab. There's the Diva Bomb. Will he get the out back? He will not. And
2 picks though. That
it's
might be
over.
enough. They can LOS the Bastion behind the
it's
payload
over.
anyway. It's not going to matter. I'm trying to build up the hype. Northeastern have plenty of their own as well. Oh my.
Sort of a shellacking.
And now, because Boston University failed, but they don't have a timeout, they finished in overtime, they don't get a chance to attack.
Nope.
They must just defend the first point, which means all that Northeastern need to do is walk in and take everything for themselves. Snatch up the weaves and be done with it.
Snatch up the weaves.
Yeah, the weaves. The weaves. You know, like carpets and rugs and stuff. Just snatch them up.
Take them out.
Yeah.
But this is where, but they could realistically still tie and take it to, I mean, well, not realistically, but
it's super unrealistic that would happen.
They could tie and take it to a third map. And I would like to see that because then we see a tiebreaker. But that's just me being very hopeful. So let's see if BU can mount an incredible defense as a cheers ring around.
Yeah,
Then please BU.
And they're not for Northeastern. That's
No,
for
they
sure.
are not.
Home crowd advantage, not enough for Boston University thus far. To be honest with you, Northeastern just look incredibly well drilled. I mean, they're getting a lot of value. They're not overusing on these ultimates. They're very disciplined. Their setups are good. Their reads are fast. I mean, you saw how they attacked last time against Boston. They saw straight away they had to go around the backside. It's going to have to be something really special from Boston University to stop them and take it to a map 3 here.
I like that they're choosing to go goats instead of that Orisa comp again because they realize that Northeastern will probably be rolling out on that. And Orisa just gets walked all over. So running a counter goats, choosing to take this fight in that brawl comp on the point, this gives them a much better shot. Bubbles out, good job blocking it, and they get the return frag on Matt. But they lose Tico.
Probably their biggest target. So Blanco knows I've got time. I can just try and be aggressive, try and throw some looks at these guys and see if I can bait anything out. Now, it doesn't work, but still, Northeastern know they can just try and get some ultimates going or switch.
And Northeastern swapping. And we saw again that Northeastern strategy of Matt going out in front of the team, looking for the bat, using the bubble aggressively for him, and they did not have it. Afterwards, he got melted, but instead they're going to choose to swap. They're going to go for this, and the time is on their side. They can actually afford to just build up all these ults.
He's already 33% of his way to his first ult. Woe's getting in the back line as well, starting to charge up. Tico's down again. The only protection from Matt now is going to be the Diva of Sassy, and even he's looking pretty low.
Very low, and the sleep allowing you to get free damage. The bubble comes out. They're still going to be fine on the point. The ult looking so good. Alonze down, but Matt, so much value here. The pocket from Dogs, they're trying to get him. He lives, Dogs still alive.
Oh, Peter would be happy, but now Matt needs to try and get the job done, but he gets lasered out. A lot, I mean, you can just see Matt makes these very small micro corrections to his aim there. He's very sharp. He's hitting a lot of these shots, but again, Northeastern's front line needs to stand tall whilst he is applying his damage. And they're playing with the Hammond here, with a wrecking ball, a little bit more of a risky.
using that rally very effectively too, by, like you said, going into that front line, using the rally to just chase, giving Korean Gamer all that armor so he could just beam people down. And they're going to look to engage. There's the Hammond ult up. Early transforce, actually, from the side of Aeon.
See what's caught in that one. Matt going down, of course, to the whip shot, by the way, from EasyV.
I did see that. Pretty kind of a nice fade away there, and good grab from Korean Gamer, catching them on the lip of the building there, cleaning up the damage. But this is where we get into really grim, rough, sort of a unfortunate thing here for Northeastern, because look at these win conditions. Nano, Barrage, Sombra ult, Hammond. You can just pop all this in one go once you get them in a spot you want, and that's the end.
Very impressive to deal with this Boston. To see Boston, they're kind of aware of, like, Sombra's getting close to ultimate. We know that we can't spread too much.
But we also can't be too clumped. We don't want to be close together.
That's what I did. Sorry,
you mean more of a
we can't clump too much, yeah. Otherwise, it's not possible to spread too much. Anyway, Aeon goes down. Matt is going to be stunned as he hits the ground, but he just didn't have a barrage. He just turns around and hits the Brigitte with the ultimate, and yeah, that's going to be enough. That's going to do the job. And Northeastern They
will take
continue.
it.
They will be your Boston Uprising Collegiate Cup champions. With that second on-the-road victory against Boston University. Oh, there's no beating a team like this at the moment, man.
That team is too strong. Did a lot there. They saved up their ults, readied it for the engage as we see some chants going around the arena. But very well done overall from the side of Northeastern. They just played perfectly. They executed perfectly. They played their comps exactly how they wanted, and they didn't play into the enemy team hand for Boston. Boston just wasn't able to counter them.
We were discussing this over dinner last night and talking about the difference between a team with like very strong fundamentals and then at what point, you know, can you start really going for the extra stuff, the spice, the sprinkling over the top. And what we saw here, I feel, was a team with very strong fundamentals that was able to lean into those to, you know, to gain a lot of those advantages in
and having that fundamental Overwatch is so big. And we're looking here at our beautiful cup. Here for the Boston Collegiate
that is a legit cup.
A legit
that is
cup.
like a bit that you can eat like Lucio O's out of that one. Here's an update on your bracket for you, ladies and gentlemen. This is how we got here. Northeastern obviously got to the finals by taking down Emerson first, and then it was Boston University versus UConn. It was actually Boston University that advanced, not UConn. But here's what our teams are going to be coming away with here. This was what was at stake, of course, and not just bragging rights, but the round-trip flight to Los Angeles, 2 nights hotel in the Los Angeles area, and tickets to see the Boston Uprising play a match during the 2019 Overwatch League season. That is what is at stake, and now we have an opportunity to welcome to the stage our Northeastern team and our 2018 Boston Uprising Collegiate Champions, presented by Huck. Huck, take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a scramble here. Congratulations, first and foremost, to you guys. Great job. Those were some great games. Can we give a clap it up for them? Thank you. I want to make a quick announcement. You guys both, you both played crazy games. Way higher than, you know, what we were expecting skill-wise. Some of our coaches were quite impressed. We'll see what happens. We're happy to have you out in LA. Can you do me the honors, lift the trophy up and show the crowd what it's about? Great job. As we close it out, I just want to announce we're actually going to have Boston Uprising signing autographs outside for everyone after the event closes out. So if you need something signed, they're going to be more than willing. But all in all, very proud. Great games, guys. I'm glad to see the collegiate scene here so strong. Well earned. That's it. Can we get a final clap for everyone that participated in the tournament and our champions?
Thank you very much, Huck. And yeah, he's not wrong. And you know, when he pointed out, he said this is, you know, better than we expected. It's not to say that he didn't have high expectations. That this was some very high level Overwatch.
A lot higher than expected.
Yes. Were the compositions necessarily what we see all the time in contenders? No, that's not the case.
I mean, actually, I would say it wasn't definitely uniformly what we would expect to see in high-level play, but from the side of Northeastern, we have seen that anti-goods composition a lot, so that is actually a fairly used composition. Something to play around that Sombra, that Pharah. I was impressed as well. I thought that was clean. It was polished. It was the opposite of nasty, but in a good way.
So it's the sick nasty, the good nasty. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure to be here and help put on this event for you guys today. A huge thank out to our sponsors as well, DX Racer and Checkpoint XP, guys. Thank you so much for partnering up with us in this event. It's been great to have 2 fantastic brands partnered up with this event, and we hope you enjoyed the show. We definitely had a great time, and once more, finally, from myself, Mitch Leslie here, Connor Prince, it's been an absolute pleasure, ladies and gentlemen. And if there's Overwatch to be played, we may well be there, so stay tuned, stick around, and thank you very much for having us, Boston. See you later.